Hempstead, Long Island for our Cablevision's coverage of the Long Island Class 3 Championship between the Bethpage Golden Eagles and the Bulldogs of North Babylon. Well, hi everyone, I'm Carl Reuter along with Tom Howard. And Tom, Bethpage, I guess you could say they're like that Energizer battery. They just keep going and going and going. And for the North Babylon Bulldogs, did Terry Manning expect to be here?
Well, I think Terry Manning expected to be here. North Babylon expected to be here. The players on the team, maybe people in the community didn't. But get back to how he votes, and he is the Energizer battery. I mean, he just plods along at 242 wins going into tonight's game. Bethpage is just an unbelievable football team.
You mentioned how he votes. In his 43rd year, he's got another strong crop on this sidelines, and we have to begin with his quarterback, A.J. Hogan.
A.J. Hogan, 9.9-yard average running the football. He's passed the football for 425 yards and 10 touchdowns. He's just able to do it all. He leads that potent running attack that they have, and they have a big offensive line ahead of him. So I think we can see, look for a lot of offense out of the Bethpage Golden Eagles.
Perhaps the biggest number that you saw up there, Hogan has not thrown an INT yet in this season. On the flip side, for the Bulldogs of North Babylon, perhaps the best running back on Long Island in Jason Hickson.
Well, that's arguably the best running back, but Jason Hickson has the ability to carry the ball both inside and outside. He's a real tough runner. Terry Manning wants to get the ball in his hands. 756 yards, as you can see right there. 27 touchdowns on the year. I mean, we're talking about, guys, the Long Island record was 29 touchdowns. We've had two people break that this year. One tied Billy Fowler from St. Anthony's, another person who went even past that, and now you have Hickson with the possibility of getting 2 touchdowns tonight and meeting Amos Airways mark.
If Bethpage is to lose this game and North Babylon comes out on top, of course we would have a split in the Long Island Championships, 2 each for Nassau, 2 each, obviously for Suffolk as well. But how do you size this up? What is the key in this game?
I think the athleticism of North Babylon is the key. They have great athletes. Yearwood, Barry Baker, another freshman, a true freshman, Barry Baker split in from North Babylon. Castellano, their quarterback. They have great athletes, great speed on defense. Bethpage has faced some great opponents, but they haven't faced North Babylon, and I'm not taking anything away from Howie Votes' team. They can do it. Are they going to do it?
Well, that is the big question. Does Howie Votes continue to roll on, or is it the underdog, Bulldogs of Terry Manning's club? Can they knock off Bethpage? We'll find out when we come back. And when we do come back, Hal Sass with more on tonight's game between Bethpage and North Babylon for the Long Island Class 3 Championship.
Long Island, North Babylon taking on Bethpage, and we have quite a contrast in the coaching styles here. Howie Votes, 43 years for Bethpage. He's a legend, #1 all-time winningest coach on Long Island. He passed Don Snyder's record of 237 last season. Snyder, 43 years, 246, 104 and 8, a winning percentage of 703. Now, he's only had one fourth winner. That was back in 1968, Dennis Mackholtz. I asked him before the game, I said, Howie, how do you keep winning? He says, it's a team effort. Why do you keep coming out? It's the kids. They won the Long Island Championship, the Class 4 title in 1993, beating Southampton, and the 1994 Class 3 Championship, beating Comstock. 32 straight wins for this team. They are on a roll. On the other side, for North Babylon, Terry Manning is the head coach, 18, 22, and 3. The record not that impressive. Take this into mind. Before this season, his record was 9, 21, and 3. This year, 9 and 1. He's looking for his first Long Island Championship. Two very different coaches. This should be a great ball game. It's going to be played on the field. Running games, the weather. This is going to be a great football game. Hofstra Stadium will be packed. Get ready. Championship, Long Island football coming up. The Class 3 title on the line. North Babylon on Bethpage coming up next on Cablevision's Long Island Sports Network.
Advantage loan from
Long Island Class 3 title between Bethpage and North Babylon. Today's game is being brought to you by Canon, by 9X, by Hofstra University, the Long Island Diamond Exchange, and by the National Sports Medicine Orthopedic Group. Carl Reuter along with Tom Howard and Hal Sass will join us on the sidelines. You've already heard from Hal, and we are ready. Tom Howard, North Babylon, NB as their fans know him, will kick off here against Bethpage.
And the Bulldogs, I'll tell you, we'll see right off the bat, Carl, what type of defense Terry Manning has. He's prepared. He said he had nothing to do this coming Saturday night. He wanted to just come over to Hofstra and see what happens.
Well, he's going to be in a football game now. Comes to the up back. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the Bethpage 31-yard line. And we will watch A.J. Hogan, the quarterback, put the first play into gear. There is Hogan, Kasha, Kelly, Searcy, Soliday, and Testa. The backs and receivers, offensive line, a good line they produce for these running backs.
And Eric Harthunian is a big player there, 6'5", 322, and has really come into his own this year. I tell you, they have the big people to go behind, and they have their quick people to go behind. Number 62, Bobby Young, a real strong, quick guard.
A.J. Hogan, you see the numbers. Look at that. No INTs. One of the best all-around athletes in Nassau, maybe one of the best on Long Island. First play of the game. Trying to spin, trying to get loose, not much yardage. Number 9, David Kelly. In fact, he was lucky if he got back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, I'll tell you, right off the bat, you saw the quickness of North Babylon getting to the outside. There was a hole that opened up, and Kelly didn't get through it. You see, defensively, you have Nicky Crow, McBroom, Henson Harrison is a real tough nose tackle, great pursuit either side, Antonio Romero and Smith. Linebackers are key here, okay? Yearwood and Evans Charles Pierre are both excellent linebackers. Freshman, true freshman, Barry Baker in the secondary, along with Jason Hickson, our feature player.
They called it a loss of 1, Tom Howard. It'll be 2nd and 11 from the 28, just underway. Long Island Class 3 championship on the line. 32 games in a row.
Motion right there.
Movement on the right side of the line.
Big Eric Harthunian, 6'5", 322, rocked back. And if anything, Eric, this rock forward, you don't want to back up first before you start going forward. Rocks back, motion, puts Bethpage down. Very right off the bat, not typical of a Bethpage football team. They don't make mistakes. You know, showing me real quickly, watch the right guard to the right of your screen, next to number 12. Watch the rock back. He rocked back like he was almost going to pull to the right. Number 71, big, strong kid. A lot of good things Coach Vogt said about him, but right there, that was a mistake.
Referee, and we'll get the entire crew, but the referee, man in the white hat, Craig Marshall out of Nassau County. 2nd and 16 from the 23. Hogan back to throw. It's going to be a screen set up. And meeting the challenge coming up real big, North Babylon. The reception was made by Kasha, but the bigger play came up defensively for the Bulldogs.
And hello, wake-up call right here. First 3 plays, we're back deep in our own territory. You know, right here, pass to the outside. Now watch number 12, is that 14? I'm
tough with those numbers because
it really
of the
is, you can't read it.
I believe
that's 14.
It was 14. Michael Yearwood, senior captain.
And middle linebacker with good read, and this puts him in a bad field position. Knowing how he votes right now, Carl, I don't know that you're going to see A.J. Hogan pass the ball. I don't know that you're not going to see some type of option or something to the outside just to try to break it. If they don't, they're going to get in the punt formation. But again, I said this at the top of the telecast, the speed that North Babylon has, the athleticism that these Bulldogs have. Terry has put together a great program. That's Terry Manning, the coach.
3rd and 22 from the 15. Hogan will get some yardage shy of the 25 to the 24, but it's going to be 4th and very, very long on Bethpage's first possession.
Number 2, Barry Baker in on the tackle. Again, I said before, true freshman, 6 foot, 170 pounds, can close real hard. Now going back in punt return is Barry Baker, the freshman, and number 12, Hickson. Both of them averaging about 22 yards per punt return. Let's see what happens.
Number 2, Searcy to do the booting. Nice high kick. And fielding with a hole, getting some running room, crossing the 50, getting over midfield was Jason Hickson, also a senior captain. Speaking of Hickson, we will now watch, Tom Howard, North Babylon put the ball into play. And
position, possession are keys in championship football games. Field position first, they got it inside the 50. Possession, are they going to be able to take the ball and control it? If they can, they can move right down and drive on the Eagles early. It's going to be an eye-opener for Bethpage.
Good cast of backs and receivers led by the QB, number 9, Castellano, the running back, Hickson.
Good person in wide receiver number 14.
Craby, Jacobson, Salazar, Harrison, and Urban, the offensive line. The pitch. And getting to the near side, number 14 is Michael Yearwood, dropped at about the 25-yard line, brought down by number 29, Michael McGrath.
Let's talk about an offense that averages 38 points a game. Let's talk about an offense that's been explosive all year. And on their first offensive play, they exploded. Now remember, you have Bethpage, which is also averaging about 34 points per game, but they didn't explode on their first series, Carl.
Tom, we must address 32 wins in a row as you check out the Bethpage defense. The linebackers there, good solid group, and there is the secondary. Handoff goes, brought down at the 20-yard line, the ball carrier. was number 12, Jason Hickson, brought down by number 67 for Bethpage, Dom Durazio.
And Jason averages just about 6 yards on a carry. He's able to move the ball on that play about 5.5 to 6 yards, so he's keeping right up with his average.
Second down and 4 from the 20. Played almost 5 minutes of this first quarter, Long Island Class 3 game. Hickson from the right side. First down and more. Flag on the play. Hickson driven out of bounds inside the 5. About the 3. A.J. Hogan on the stop, but let's check out the flag.
Preliminary signal, the linesman just gave the signal right there on your screen. He's saying holding against North Babylon, and I'll tell you, Hickson has to be careful. Hickson used a nice straight arm, but when you straight arm in the face mask, you can get called, Jason, for face masking on offense, so you have to be careful. If you watch the end of that run, if we get to see it again, you'll see where Hickson puts his straight arm in the face mask. Craig Marshall showing the call. It's a hold, 66. Henson Harrison, the 5'11", 220 junior, right guard. Just take a look. It's the right guard. He pulls. He comes out to the front. We can't see him right now, but they give a call. There he is. He turns the man in. Now watch right at the end of the straight arm right here. Jason, straight arms in the face mask. Doing a good job staying off the face mask. Not pulling on it, but be careful with that one.
Negates the big run. Ball brought back to the 29-yard line.
Fumble.
Loose football. Coming up with it, Bethpage. 36 as Danny Smith just tripped up at the 40-yard line of North Babylon.
Opportunistic Bethpage team. Number 12 making the tackle on that one. You saw Jason Hickson coming through with a big game, a touchdown-saving tackle because he was off to the races. There was one person left, and Hickson came through on the tackle.
Tom, I don't think the exchange was ever made.
No, it wasn't. You can see it was really botched up in the beginning. Just take a look right now. You can see right in the middle of your screen. He's going to come, boom, just pulled it. He seeded the ball. Quarterback's supposed to seed the ball, but if he's given to the fullback, he shouldn't have, should have seeded the ball and held it. You can see right there, Danny Smith off to the races with that, and Hickson, great saving touchdown tackle.
No quit in Hickson. First turnover of the game. Can Bethpage capitalize? Hogan back to throw. Looking deep. Man open and should have caught the ball. Number 19, Brian Soliday, should have come up with that ball.
Well, Carl, you're right, but it's a tough catch in high school. And over-the-shoulder catch is tough. You work on it all the time. But again, Bethpage isn't a great passing team. They're a great running team and a good passing team. Take a look one more time at the fumble. You can see no exchange here. Quarterback seeks the ball originally, pulls it into his stomach, and after this, he gets hit by his own lineman. That's exactly what happened. He got hit by a trapped guard. Guard was trapping on the play, and there he goes. He's off. That's Danny Smith to the races, except for a nice pursuit angle there, and shoestring saving tackle by Jason Hickson.
No quitting Hickson on that play. Went from offense to the defense in a very short time. Second and 10 from the 40. Jumping right side, 71, Harthunian again. Harthunian again, Tom Howard.
Here's the word on Harthunian, okay? He's huge, he's big, he's tough, but his biggest problem, and it's his biggest asset, is his emotion. He's a very emotional player. He's a fired-up player. He wants to get off the ball right there. He's not thinking. It's on 2. Obviously, he's going on 1. I want a piece of those black jerseys, you're saying. I like players like that. I'll take the 5 every now and then because that kid will keep giving it to me throughout the game.
Tom, you mentioned he's big, he's huge. You have the numbers on how big and how huge he is.
6'5", 322 pounds, and he's a growing boy, Howie told me. Now, Howie's staff is Howie votes at about 250, Irwin Dill at about 250, Big Rich Millette at about 320 pounds.
So those
Billy
guys
LaSalle
look small.
225.
Into the open field, inside the 40 to the 37-yard line is A.J. Hogan. As we're inside 7 minutes to play, first quarter, no score. I mentioned Craig Marshall before as the ref. Umpire Roy Levin, linesman Gary Markowski, line judge George DiMatteo, back judges Bob Gunther, the chain crew Tom O'Connor, Bob Nikolic, and Tom Lukovic, and the timekeeper is Rick Fry. So those are your officials working the Long Island Class 3 Championship. Third down and 6 from the 36, 6.5 to play first quarter.
Great line drive. And that's, getting to the outside, that's North Babylon's strength. You try to get to the outside a lot, you may not be able to outspeed North Babylon, but it looks right now that Bethpage, a big up front with Adam Razoff at 6'3", 205, Eric Harthunian, who we mentioned before, 6'5", 322, Chris Hecker at 210, Bobby Young at 228, and Dominic D'Orazio at 190. They're a big physical team. They're doing a good job blowing North Babylon back off the ball.
And the ball carrier was Chris Searcy, number 2. He's a nice-sized kid, 5'11", and goes about 190 pounds.
Fourth down play here.
Big play coming up in the ball game.
Look at that line. Look at that
Look at
wedge.
the
Look at
surge.
it go. And that is nothing but a wedge. One of the things Terry had mentioned to me during the week, Terry Manning, the North Babylon coach, is he said they run a wishbone, but it isn't, the type of wishbone that Oklahoma runs. It's not the type of wishbone you see in college. They run a power wishbone where they actually have a flying wedge coming at you. They just go off the right guard. That's Hawthornian. And everybody is just, what they're trying to do, this may not sound so nice, Carl, but they're acting like a pimple. That Hawthornian is the pimple. They're trying to pop the front of that pimple and knock him through.
Only Tom Howard would come up with that kind of an analogy. 5.5
dirty
minutes.
game.
5.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. It's a first down for Bethpage from the North Babylon 24-yard line.
Wedge
Again
again.
to give the big hole and busting inside the 10-yard line for another first down.
Cersei, and I like the way he runs because he pushes number 61. He just says, hey, Adam Razloff, get out of my way and keep going. He stays right behind him. They teach, this is the blocking. Erwin Dill, offensive line coach, these guys teach, Richie Millette, they teach the blocking of just keep your feet, keep going, follow your blockers, and they do. Watch how this one, Cersei, number 2, follows his blockers, keeps driving. Now watch, he gets right behind Razloff. He's pushing him, keeping his legs going.
First and goal from the 8. Hogan, the signal caller. Again, the give to the middle of the line. I believe it's Kasha, number 6, the ball carrier on that one. Robert Kasha, number 6. Bethpage driving for perhaps the game's first touchdown.
I think maybe Howie Votes heard what I said before about how North Babylon was moving the ball. He got his team together, got a little upset, and says, hey, don't let that guy talk like that. We can do the exact same thing. We have athleticism. We have great kids here. Let's show them what we can do coming back the other way, and they certainly are showing North Babylon at this point.
Good look at A.J. Hogan, the quarterback for Bethpage. They're in tight, looking for 6. Hogan on the keep. Now the flip on the cutback. Driven out of bounds at the 1 is Robert Kasha.
And the nice job by A.J., and that shows you how good he is. They power to the inside, they wedge to the inside, they power to the inside, and all of a sudden Hogan takes it down, and he runs that option so well because he doesn't give it until he's about to be tackled. Watch as he comes down to the left of your screen, comes down the line, fake to the fullback. Now, right when now he gets hit by Hickson, right there, he gives it as he's falling down. Great pitch, and not a dangerous pitch. He looks the ball into the receiver's hands. You see Barry Baker coming up, making the hit to drive out of bounds. Barry Baker's at left corner. Evans Charles Pierre, the middle linebacker, comes over and also assists in that call.
3rd and goal.
You think they're going to go over the right guard, Hawthornian?
From the 2, maybe they'll go right up the gut. Let's watch from the end zone. Straight up the gut. Touchdown, Bethpage. Chris Searcy.
Now, this came off of a turnover, remember. North Babylon was moving the ball very well. In championship football games, you can't make mistakes. Big mistake, not only dropping the football, but allowing somebody to pick it up and gain 15, 18 yards after it, and then that just gave Bethpage the momentum to come back, and they just started that flying wedge coming at you.
Golden Eagle community in support of Bethpage and this program that has won 32 in a row, a Long Island record. Bethpage last lost in the 1992 playoffs to Lynbrook.
They do all sorts of crazy things on their extra point play.
Hogan slips, maintains his balance, skips away, lets it fire, end zone. He's got it out of bounds, and a flag on the play.
How about athleticism? How about Hogan rolling to his right, getting trapped, almost falling down, keeping his balance, coming back, looking for number 86 in the corner of the end zone, almost finding him, putting the ball on the money, and unfortunately, he just didn't come up with it. I mean, the ball was right on his numbers. Ineligible receiver downfield. It's going to be, okay, my guess is, I guess it's just a,
That'll be it. It's a loss.
Right, exactly.
A loss of down.
Well, we're going to kick over. No, we're going to kick over. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be added on to the kickoff. Take a look one more time at the athleticism of A.J. Hogan. You're going to see him roll to his right originally. He takes the snap. He stands up. He rolls to his right. He can option to the kicker behind him. He turns around and says, I can't make it this way. Balance, up, gets hit, drives back, lets the ball go in the end zone. And that's number 16, number 9. It looks like David Kelly.
Maybe we'll get a better look here, I believe.
Here's the touchdown off the left guard. Number 2, Cersei, takes the ball, powers behind Bobby Young. Bobby, 6 foot, 228-pound left guard, not half the size of Everett Carthuni in the right guard, but definitely the same leg drive because he drove the man right into the end zone.
8 plays, 40 yards, 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Searcy takes it in from 2 yards out. The conversion no good. 6-0 Bethpage. They take advantage of a mistake, the turnover, the fumble that Danny Smith brought back to the 40-yard line. It was a touchdown-saving tackle. by Hickson, but yet Bethpage still gets into that end zone.
And you want to know something? The sign of true champions is how you bounce back from adversity, Carl. Let's see what happens. Terry's an emotional coach, but he probably told his guys, hey, guys, we knew Bethpage was going to score 2 or 3 touchdowns. We average 42 points a game. We probably figure we got to get 28. If they get 2 to go up on us, we don't have to worry about it. We're going to play our game. So let's see what they do here on this kickoff.
Well, that's the whole thing. What you just brought up the point. You've got to stay within your game. You can't get driven out by what the other team. You want to maintain your game plan as long as you can.
How often have you seen comebacks in the second half where a team scores 28 points? So even if the other team has 27 at halftime, we know we had to get 28. Let's just do it in the second half. Don't panic. Don't panic in a big game.
Tom, they didn't get here by not being a good team.
Absolutely. And they have, as I said before, they have great athleticism. I guess Bethpage has great muscle. They showed that on that drive. They're going to muscle you. They're going to come at you. And as I said before,
what seems to be the problem here, they were lined up for the kickoff. Now,
don't underestimate Bethpage doing all sorts of crazy things. Don't underestimate the ball looking like it's falling off the tee, but really after the ref blows the whistle, they come trotting up like they're going to pick it up and kick the ball. I mean, Howie Votes has a coaching staff there of 4,232 alumni who all want to come and help him coach, and they come up with all different plays. They have scouted North Babylon for 8 games this year. 8 games. They scouted Comstock, who never made it here, for 7 games. They send out all these alumni and they scout every week, and then they're just wait.
Scouting from week 1 of the regular season.
They don't mess around. They have so many people there who are behind this Bethpage football program for years.
That's one of the reasons they've won 32 in a row. One of the reasons Howie Votes now in his 43rd year at the helm. Hickson on the return, still on his feet. Over the 30-yard line to about the 31-yard line. Number 36, Danny Smith, in on the stop, along with number 39, Brendan Tester. Rode to the top. Lindbrook was the first victim of Bethpage, followed up by Manhasset, 25-7. That was for the Nassau County Conference 3. And then look at the amount of points North Babylon putting on the board.
And against Savo, they were down at halftime. They came back, storming back, and then the Comstock 42 points against a great top-season Comstock team. That was a 22-yard return by Jason Hicks.
And the one loss that North Babylon had this year, they avenged by beating Comstock. That is Hickson crossing the 40 to about the 43-yard line. How good are these two teams coming in? 9 shutouts between them. Bethpage 5, and North Babylon had 4.
And you just saw right there how North Babylon can move the football. They don't have to panic. You don't have to worry, because you knew you moved the ball over the field before, and it was a fumble. What they can't do is they can't make mistakes. They can't put the ball on the carpet here at Hofstra. They can't throw interceptions. Castellano has only thrown, I believe, 1 interception all year, so that's not really going to hurt him if he doesn't do it tonight.
This is a 1st and 10, the inside handoff. Spinning, getting to about the 49-yard line for a gain of about 5 was Michael Yearwood. For more on tonight's game, we go downstairs in Hal Sass. Hal?
Thanks, Carl. Following Chris Searcy's touchdown, North Babylon coach Terry Manning really lashed into his defense. He felt the team gave away good field position with the fumble. They turned it into 6 points. Turnovers are going to kill you. Bethpage turned it over to 6 points. Maybe his vocalization will wake up his defense. Now his offense is on the field trying to get it back.
We will see what happens, Hal. I think you're absolutely right. As Tom Howard says, they know that they can score points. In fact, how about 402 this year, a Suffolk County scoring record for North Babylon?
Sure, they're a great football team, and Terry is a very emotional coach. He's done a tremendous job in taking a program that had been down for so many years and turning it into a possible perennial champion, because they're going to be back and back and back with Terry at the helm.
Big play here, Tom. 3rd and 2 from the Bethpage 48 for North Babylon, trailing by 6 with 2:15 left. Comes to the near side, 1st down and more. Running room is Michael Yearwood inside the 30.
Let's talk for a second about Michael Yearwood. Michael Yearwood is number 14. Number 14 is given out annually to the best back in North Babylon. It's in honor of Terry's brother Pat. Terry's brother Pat died tragically in a motorcycle accident about 10 years ago in the mid-'80s. And he was a great kicker for North Babylon. Terry played there in 73 and 74. Pat stayed after that. And I'll get back to that in a second. Let's just take a look at Yearwood. Number 14, who wears that number, gets the pitch. Look at the block coming out there. Nice block on Kasha. And then blocks on the inside of the line. You saw number 9, John Castellano, the brother of quarterback. I'm sorry, number 9, John Castellano, the quarterback, do it. One more time with Yearwood. I'm sorry, Jason Hickson. On the carry, and they're moving the ball. They can't put it down. Carl,
they are beginning to steamroll now.
If I can get back to the number 14, what Terry did. Terry worked for many years with John Glenn. He worked over there with Tony Cerullo, a great coach in his own right. Tony used to take the kids away to camp. And what they used to do is they'd give a number to a kid. Well, they give number 14 North Babylon. The night before the first game, they get in the bleachers. They have a bleacher party. They get in the bleachers, and every kid talks a little bit about the goals. And the last thing, Terry talks and gives number 14 to the person who's the best back, the leader, the role model, the one with the good grades, and people fight for it. Rashawn Vanderpool, that West Virginia was his first.
You know how good he was.
Danny Ryan of St. John's, captain of St. John's Redmen. Or the Red Storm, I guess now, was the next. Eric Bensavega from St. John's. George Lopera from St. John's. All these were number 14. The Manning Foundation was developed for Pat Manning, and as a memorial scholarship is given every year at North Babylon. And this year's recipient of number 14 is Mike Yearwood, and he's just an outstanding captain and an all-county player.
Well, there are the troops, the Bulldog troops, North Babylon football. Terry Manning has done a super job because for years, North Babylon was known for basketball. Hey, how about supporting the youth of Long Island? Become a sponsor of the Long Island High School Sports Championship Series. For more information, dial this number. It's important. The area code is 516-485-3701. And Tom Howard, being a former coach, being an administrator, you know what it's all about.
Exactly.
Get them involved.
You want to get those people involved so guys like Jack Loth from North Babylon basketball can get his team on television.
There you go. That's what we want to see. Yearwood dragged down at the 5-yard line. Maybe a touchdown-saving tackle by Robert Kasha, but Yearwood getting inside the 10 to the 5.
And the momentum is back. And as Hal said a minute ago, Terry Manning lashed into his defense. Well, he didn't have to say anything to his offense because they knew. It was one mistake that they did that gave Bethpage a 6-0 lead. They have the chance to put the points on the board now, get the kick. Okay, they have number 12, Jason Hickson, as their kicker, a very good one, and make the extra point and go up 7-6.
The clock will run out before this ball is snapped.
No, this is, we can't see the,
we
this
cannot
is
see that.
The 1 minute. This is happening to us,
We
the other
cannot
guard.
see that. Okay, so I was wrong. We're inside 1 minute now as John Castellano coming over looking for a play from the sideline.
Speaking about athletes, John Castellano is one of the best baseball players. He's a catcher with a major league arm. He plays for John D. Clemente. You can see 45 seconds ticking down. John D. Clemente, he plays baseball with him, been to Shea Stadium, been everywhere. You can see that pole right there in the middle. From our vantage point in the press box, that blocks that number, the minute number, and when it was at 1, we couldn't see it.
From the 3-yard line, that's Hickson on the cutback touchdown.
Jason Hickson put 6 on the board for the North Babylon Bulldogs using his leg drive. Got met at the line of scrimmage, was able to drive it into the end zone to tie the score.
So Hickson ties the game up. 6 foot, 170 pounds, just driving in for 6.
See, Jason Hickson put one more of his many touchdowns on the board. Jason about to kick the extra point also. A little soccer-style kicker here.
From the left side. Bad snap, placement down, kick is up. The kick is good, and North Babylon with a 1-point lead coming right back after Bethpage, marching right down the field.
How about these Long Island championships all together, though? I mean, right down the line, we had a great game in the first game when the Carl Place Frogs beat Harborfield Tornadoes. But today we've had some fantastic football games, Carl. I mean, the Lawrence Sachem game right down to the end. Then you come to the Belfort Garden City game right down to the end. They're like professional boxers going back and forth, and we have another one tonight. Bethpage takes the first round, North Babylon takes the second round.
There are the numbers in the early going for Jason Hickson. The drive, 8 plays, 69 yards, 3 minutes, 27 seconds. Hickson, the extra point on the kick was good. 7-6 North Babylon with 27 seconds left in the first quarter of the Long Island Class 3 Championship. Tom, there's nothing better than what we have put together 4 years ago when it began. The Long Island Football Championships. Stadiums are always packed. Great community support, and even guys that aren't involved, teams that are knocked out, are still here watching.
It's so great for the community. We're going to have Tommy Cassis from Comstock in the second period with us here in the booth, and he'll talk about his team, Comstock, coming here last year, how it built support out in the Port Jeff Station area. I mean, it's just a phenomenal thing for Long Island football. It's a phenomenal thing for the communities that are involved.
David Kelly, number 9, trying to go up the middle, still on his feet to the 25-yard line. 1st and 10 for Bethpage. 20 seconds left in this first quarter.
Now the clock starts in high school football when the chains are set. Bethpage may not get a playoff right now because Tommy Marshall is going to spot the ball right now. We have 20 seconds and counting. Craig Marshall.
I'm
Tom Howard. I don't know who
Howard. Tom Marshall,
the football coach, whose mother used to be our babysitter. It's Tom Marshall's mother.
This is only the first quarter. I can't imagine what we're going to have by the fourth.
I lived in Delaware back in 1979 and 80, and my oldest son Trevor and oldest daughter Kaylee, Tommy Marshall's mother down in Lewis, Delaware, was our babysitter.
Tom Howard, thanks for the family reunion. You took us to break here. We've got 12 minutes in the book. We've completed one quarter. Long Island Class 3 Championship, and it's North Babylon over Bethpage by the score of 7-6. Back with second quarter action right after this timeout.
Imagine a camcorder that lets you control focus and other functions simply by moving your eye. Imagine it with a 20 times optical, 40 times digital zoom, an optical image stabilizer. Imagine it offering unparalleled digital effects and a stunning compact design. Now, take a deep breath and try to imagine yourself without one. Canon's eye-controlled ES5000, the new vision in camcorders.
Sound effects are coming, sound effects are coming, sound effects are coming, sound effects are coming to you. Watch out, look around, 'cause we're coming, Tommy Jerry come.
New Coca-Cola Santa Packs, the only real holiday refreshment. Look for this display at your store.
Holiday refreshments like we're great. A wrap of Santa Pack, it's always a real thing. Sound effects are coming, so is Coca-Cola.
Do you know how many regional calls we make? Hey, we're building a business here. Hundreds a month.
Thousands a year.
We're building a building business here.
9X is giving us a break.
A big break.
They call it Business Link.
We call it a business builder.
It's a savings plan.
An incentive plan. A building business builder.
It's like a volume discount.
Just like our other suppliers give us.
Exactly. But no long-term commitment.
Signing up's a breeze. All we did was say yes.
Yeah.
With Business Link, we're building our building business, building by building.
We are ready to start this second quarter. Carl Reuter along with Tom Howard and Hal Satz patrolling the sidelines. North Babylon on a touchdown by Jason Hickson and the extra point by Hickson over Bethpage by the score of 7-6. The Bethpage score was by Chris Searcy earlier. It was the drive before North Babylon had tied the game.
Now again, let's take a look at Hogan and see how Hogan runs this offense right now. The power game to the inside, the wedge blocking to the inside, Hogan's option to the outside, Hogan's passing ability.
Time of possession in that first quarter, Bethpage holding it for a little bit over 6 minutes, and North Babylon had the rest of the time. Crossing the 30 to about the 32-yard line was number 6, Robert Kasha. In on the stop, one of the guys, number 44, Nick Crow, a junior.
Good play right there, just again, a quick opening. When they run that wishbone, a lot of times all you have to do is give a quick dive. You can split the guard tackle gap, boom, you get up there, and that's exactly what just happened. We have some real nice blocking going on in the offensive line right now, though.
Gain of about 7. They're going to call it 2nd and 2, but it's a long 2 for Bethpage. From the 32 of the Golden Eagles, again, movement on the line. Let's wait and check out the flag. Your referee is Craig Marshall in the white hat.
See, he's talking to the linesman over there, Gary Markowski, and, you know, there was a call made.
Offsides, Bethpage.
Must have lined up in the neutral zone because I didn't see any movement in the line. It wasn't illegal procedure. Craig's winding that clock right now. So obviously there was a helmet that was lined up. They get down in that 4-point stance to get off the ball call, and a lot of times when you get down there, you're right up close to the ball. If you're a big kid like Hawthornian, and I'm not saying it was him, but you get that helmet into the neutral zone, it's a 5-yard penalty.
So it's back to 2nd and 7 from the 27 for A.J. Hogan, the quarterback in Bethpage. Look at this running roam. It's Searcy to midfield. Dragged down at the North Babylon 45-yard line. Number 34, Evans Charles Pierre, again coming up with a big stop.
And one of the keys here that I've noticed earlier, watch the nose man right there get taken. The nose man's getting taken to the inside. They're opening up off the tackle. They're doing a good job with Adam Razoff, the right tackle, and Chris Hecker, the center, blocking the 2 people on him. Razoff turns his man out. Hecker takes his man down. Henson Harrison and Antonio Romero, the defensive linemen, are being handled right now.
Give some credit, too, to Barry Baker, who slowed down the runner. for Evans Charles Pierre to catch up to him and make that tackle. That one went for about a yard on that play. It'll be 2nd down and 9 from the 44-yard line for Bethpage. Down to the field once again. Here's Hal Sass.
Thanks, Carl. You were out on the field earlier, the first 3 championship games. It is cold. Take a look at John Castellano, the quarterback for North Babylon. After their touchdown, he came over to the sideline. The first thing he did was grab a hand warmer. It's important while his defense is out on the field to keep his hands warm for his next offensive set.
Put on mittens. Your hands are cold, you put on gloves, you use that hand warmer also.
There's a stuff by the North Babylon defense. Once again, Evans Charles Pierre, 34 in there. Number 44, Nick Crow is in there. Coming up from the bottom of the pile, number 6, Robert Kasha, the ball carrier for Bethpage. It'll be 3rd down and 10 from the 45.
Just take a look right here. 2nd back through the hole. Good penetration there by Evans Charles Pierre. Into the backfield, wraps the person up. A host of defenders come in and help out with the tackle. Nicky Crow, Jerron Martin, etc.
Approaching 9 minutes to play first half. 3rd down and 10 from the 45 of North Babylon for Bethpage. Hogan back to throw. He has time coming near side. And off the hands. Tough go for Kasha off his fingertips.
And there's how he votes on the sideline. Has to be concerned with that pass play because that was a 3rd and 10. Nice touch there by AJ. Sets up nice, lets the ball go, except if you notice, the runner stopped, the receiver stopped just a little bit from running, and because of that, it just went off his fingertips.
Here's the replay. It will come to the near side on the pass attempt by Hogan.
Take a look again. Hogan sets up real nice, is able to drop the ball off the top, and watch this. The runner just slows down a little bit, and right off his fingertips, it brings up a punting situation.
Great camera work by our crew, and as the game goes on, we will talk more about them. They've been out here from very early this morning for this triple header. Baker spinning over the 25 to about the 27-yard line. North Babylon putting it into play 1st and 10 with 9 minutes to play in the first half.
And Carl, as you talk about great camera work by our crew, there's one cameraman who just walked into the booth here, Michael Backety, who worked for you for many years. He's keeping warm though today. He's not working for the company, yeah. Okay? His brother Danny is a coach at North Babylon. He's the offensive coordinator for Terry Manning at North Babylon High School. And his mother happens to be the Republican leader, oh, I'm in trouble, the Democratic leader in the town of Babylon, where Pat Hogan, A.J. Hogan's cousin, is a councilman.
We've gotten everybody in here. We've got a football game as well. And it's Jason Hickson on the cutback. Hickson to midfield. 1 minute to beat, but Kelly wraps him up. Jason Hickson, but there's a flag down at midfield. There is a flag at the 48-yard line.
Let's see what the call is. It's going to be a clip.
Face mask.
Oh, face mask on Bethpage. Okay, because if you remember before, Jason Hickson's the one who uses a straight arm and puts it on the face mask. My fear there was that Craig Marshall was going to call on him, but he didn't. Obviously, there was a call. It's going to be tacked on to the end of the run. So instead of a 47-yard run, it's going to be 15 more.
Tack it on. Now the ball resting at the 28-yard line.
Watch Hickson's leg drive here, though. He cuts back. He has the ability to run fast to the outside, to cut back to the inside. Wasn't a face mask right there. He didn't hit it. And I don't know where the face mask call was called, because
maybe away from the play and we did not see it.
Why would anybody be going for an offensive blocker's face mask if you're on defense? The only person would be the person you're trying to tackle.
Well, Yearwood, left side, with some room, cut back, another cut. He's got end zone.
Athleticism, we had mentioned it before. The athleticism of the North Babylon Bulldogs is fantastic. Great speed to the outside. See the shifty hips there. You saw Yearwood run the ball. Mike was able to cut to the outside, cut to the inside, follow his blockers initially, and put the ball in the end zone for the score.
The Bulldog is loving it, as are the fans. Michael Yearwood with a double cutback, and just watch him hit pay dirt.
And again, you take a look, you see John Castellano take the ball, he just hands it off on a sweep, good blocking, but right here, it's a cut to the inside, he fakes it out. He cuts back and fakes 2 other men out. He outruns the last one to the end zone, and you see A.J. Hogan come into your picture right there at the end from his safety position, but unfortunately unable to do anything.
Hickson adds the extra point, 14-6 in favor of North Babylon. And the fans, of course, loving it here. Second quarter action with the Long Island Class 3 title on the line.
North Babylon has waited so long, Carl, for a championship team like this. and they're really happy. They're here, they're glad to be at Hofstra, and they're glad to see their team performing the way they knew they could.
2 plays, 73 yards. It took only a minute and 26. And look at the numbers, and we are only 4 minutes into this second quarter of this football game.
Now remember again, though, Bethpage is able to move the ball. If they can control the next drive and put their 2-point extra point, they go crazy. I mean, they have so many different trick plays. They have spread offenses they can come to. They can do a lot of different things. If they put it on, we could have a tie ball game. So as good as North Babylon has been, Bethpage can answer the call.
And as I mentioned earlier, on the line, not only the Long Island Class 3 championship, but a 32-game winning streak that Bethpage has. That is a Long Island record. And as I mentioned, the last time Bethpage did lose was 1992 in the playoffs to Joe Knoll and the Lynbrook Owls. 8:09 left. It'll be Hickson to do the kicking off. Number 9, Kelly to the far side. This is Kelly back to retrieve, lets it go into the end zone. We'll get the touchback. The ball will be placed on the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for Bethpage.
Let's take a look at this touchdown one more time. You're going to watch as Yearwood takes the hand up on the sweep. It's just a wing with him in motion. He follows his blockers, cuts to the inside. Nice block right there by Castellano. That's the fullback, Castellano. Michael cuts inside, cuts outside. Look at the 3 defenders he faked. I mean, he just had them falling down on their own with his movement. When you got running backs like Jason Hickson, number 12, and then you have somebody like Yearwood coming the other way, power back to Castellano, a fullback, you're in good shape.
Can Bethpage come back? Not too many times, if at all, were they ever down this season. Pitch, cut back, going nowhere, a loss of 3. The ball carry was Kosher, down to the field once again, and Hal Sass.
Thanks, Carl. Big game, big bands. North Babylon's band on hand, more than 100 strong, under the direction of Sal Randazza. They led the crowd in the playing of the national anthem. They are fired up. On the other side for Bethpage, the Golden Eagle Marching Band, 60 strong, under the instruction of Senior Drum Major Joe Hoffman and Junior Drum Major Andrea Berman. Add to that the Golden Girls, the Long Island Kickline Champs, and the Flag Corps, and their fans should be dancing. We need them to get going. Bethpage sideline's a little bit quiet right now. They trail by 8.
That's exactly right, Hal. Looking up at the scoreboard, 14-6 with 7.5. They went for Hogan, but Hogan did not have the football. He was chased down. Play busted. There was David Kelly, number 9, who had the ball.
Now remember, you have a Bethpage offense that's been able to have almost every one of their running backs average 5 or 6 yards. If we take a look from our end zone camera on this last play, you're going to see A.J. Hogan take the ball, just a quick handoff to the second back through the hole. Good reaction there by the North Babylon defense, good reaction from their linebackers, and you take a look at the North Babylon players, they came out looking pretty nice tonight with all their shirts tucked in. They're starting to come out, they're starting to look dirty, they're starting to look tough.
I have one problem. Why couldn't those blue numbers be white numbers on those black jerseys? Hogan in trouble, steps up, look at the move to get into the open field. And A.J. Hogan to the 30-yard line, chased down by Hickson, number 12, Yearwood, number 14, and number 44, Nick Crow. Terry Manning looking on. His team's got an 8-point lead, but a little disgusted. The open field and Bethpage with the first down. They move the chains.
Not only that, he traps AJ. He knows of AJ's athleticism himself, right? I mean, AJ is a great athlete in his own right, and he wants to make sure we got him back, we got him pinned, don't let him out of there, and sure enough, they do let him out.
Shaking his head as if he heard you, Tom Howard. 1st and 10 from the 30. Big play by Hogan, the last one. Inside handoff, 3 or 4, but it's so hard to pick up the ball carry because of Hogan, the way he discovers.
I believe that was number 2, Cersei,
it
was carrying the ball.
It is Cersei on the ball carry.
But what ended up happening, that's just the straight give to the fullback when they use that wedge formation. And you see that wedge, it just keeps on moving, and if the wedge breaks down, Cersei just keeps on moving.
Danny Smith, 36, checking into the lineup. Kasha to the sidelines, number 6 for Bethpage. The game a gain of 4. It's 2nd and 6 from the 34. Clock winding down, approaching 5.5 minutes to play first half. 14-6, NB. Hogan back to throw. Man open in the side is Kelly. Inbounds, crossing the 50 to about the 49-yard line of North Babylon. Good look, Hogan to Kelly.
How about the touch, though, Carl? He has a great touch when he drops back. He doesn't, most of the kids in high school, you see, they fire the ball. Watch how he sets up. He has pressure all around him. He has no problem. He just throws a nice soft pass, loops it up, not the prettiest thing in the world, off the fingertips or on the fingertips, and a nice catch right there.
Remember also in high school, only need one foot inbounds.
Absolutely.
And that's what Kelly
We're
did.
not the pros.
Another first down. They'll call it 1st and 10. The ball resting at midfield. Long count by Hogan on the keep. Trying to cut left. Ran into his own man, Searcy. He got a yard or two. Perhaps could have picked up maybe 3 or 4 more had he not run into his own man.
Well, one of the things you teach when you run an option offense is the first back through has to keep his feet moving, get into somebody, and keep driving. Searcy didn't do this. Searcy stopped. That screwed up Hogan. Watch Searcy. He comes there. He looks to block. Now he blocks. Now keep driving. Don't stop. He stopped where he was. He saw nobody outside. He stops dead. Keep going. Get out of the way because you're not going to help us if you stay there.
Nick Crow made the initial contact. The tackle was made then by number 3, Kendall Hines, a senior for North Babylon. Again, they drive the ball straight up the middle, does Bethpage.
Well, that was just a goose. There was a set play, but they didn't go with the set play. AJ saw the goose to the center right there. He saw nobody over the center. He goosed him and went straight. There's Howie Votes. He's coming down to this end of the field. He says, my team's marching, I'm marching too.
I'll tell you something. This is what high school football is all about. That man on the sidelines is just the talk of high school football on Long Island. Everything has been said about Howie Votes, but yet people keep talking about it and repeating it because he's such a great guy. Again, the give. Look at the drive by Searcy trying to get some more loose football.
After the whistle, though. That was a good play by North Babylon stealing the ball, but it was after the whistle. Good call by Tommy Marshall's crew. But the wedge is being stopped. North Babylon's doing something right. Terry Manning has got those guys over on the sideline after that first drive and said, hey, we got to stop it. And the guy who's stopping it is Henson Harrison. He's falling down at the line of scrimmage where they start wedging.
Part of the big contingent here at Hofstra Stadium, campus of Hofstra University. It used to hold 7,000. They've expanded to 15,000 seats. This is a big play. It's 4th and a long one from the 42 for Bethpage. They trail by 8.
9 guys packed in the box right there. They didn't make it. North Babylon Bulldogs rose to the occasion and drove them back.
Danny Smith looking for the first down. Number 36 was stuffed. He is short. NB comes up big on the defensive stand, and the Bulldogs will take the ball back.
And I'll tell you something, that was a big gamble by Howie Votes because the athleticism, as we said before, that they have, you know, it just don't give North Babylon the ball in good field position.
Timeout on the field. We're back with more from Hofstra Stadium right after this.
Nobody beats Long Island Diamond prices.
Now through Christmas, save 50% on our entire stock.
I'm so excited about this 50% off sale, I even shaved.
Long Island Diamond is a world-class selection of all sizes, shapes, and price ranges.
The original Long Island Diamond Exchange, open Sundays now through Christmas.
Rebel, express yourself. Take your creativity to a whole new level.
Express yourself with EOS lenses and the Rebel X from Canon.
We are back. There is your story, 14-6, North Babylon, 3:27 left in what has been a good half of football in the Long Island Class 3 Championship. North Babylon has it now with a 1st and 10 from its own 42-yard line. Castellano, the ball carrier, is now Hickson, crossing the 45 to the 46-yard line. The stop was made by number 19, Brian Soliday. And now joining Tom Howard and myself up here, what a super coach this guy is from Comstock, Tom Cassis, Tom Howard.
That's I had the pleasure, or the unfortunate pleasure, I guess, of coaching against Tommy. And Tommy, you were here last year in this game. Just how big is a game like this?
I told our kids last year, and I fully believe it, it's probably one of the most exciting things a high school kid can be involved in. And these kids out there playing that way, and it looks like they're going to Barry
deep.
Baker.
Castellano was looking long down the field.
For Perez.
And that's Perez, exactly who they're looking at.
And that one.
Okay, and here's Tom Cassis in his Kumsawag gold, white, blue, and got his Kumsawag hat on. And unfortunately, I guess, and I'm seeing there's going to be a hold penalty here on the left guard. Left guard for North Babylon is Cannon Jacobson, and he got called for a hold just on that last play. But Tommy, you had to play North Babylon last week. You beat them by a few points the first time you played them. They must have some great athletes on that team.
We felt the first time we played them that our kids played an inspirational game, probably the best defensive game we've played in many a year. And we felt athletically they were just superb. And then this last week, we had a tough time staying with them. We had some injuries, but that was not the reason. They are a great football team.
Well, that's a great football player in year with the ball carrier who's stopped for a loss of about a yard.
And talk about great football players. I mean, the game, as great as North Babylon is what they're doing, Bethpage is right here. They moved the ball very well in one drive, and then they sort of stalled out a little bit. But they also have the potential, I guess, to move the ball. You played that Bethpage team last year. How tough are they to prepare for?
Well, I'll tell you, we spent many an hour getting ready for Bethpage. They present so many different problems. I think A.J. Hogan probably, I mean, you know, to replace a quarterback like they had last year and then come back with him. I mean, what a great job. I mean, this kid is special. He's a special player.
We're going to talk more with Tom Cassis, but right now, timeout in the field, and we're back right after this. For North Babylon, there's your story. Carl Reuter with Tom Howard and Hal Sass, and of course, Tom Howard and I have been talking with Tom Cassis, the coach of Kumsawag. This is 3rd and long. They're going to go to Hickson over the 40. He's to midfield. He cuts back. He's got one man to beat, and the arm tackle by Robert Kasha, saving perhaps another 6.
We talk about athleticism, Tommy Cassis. Why would you run a play like that unless you knew you had some of the best backs in Suffolk County in your backfield? They just run a, you know, it's almost like a Delaware wing tee, you know, sweep play, and they gain 27 yards on it.
I just feel this is probably one of the most athletic football teams that we've ever played at Kumsawag, and they just feel that confident in the abilities of Yearwood and Hickson that they can do that, and obviously they can.
And they got Castellano, a quarterback who can really throw the ball. He just hasn't had to do it. Here he goes right now.
Looking down, has a man open, super catch is Jason Hickson.
Carl, I don't know if you saw the release just then on Castellano, but he let that ball go so quick and on a dart. He's a catcher on the baseball team. He can gun people down at second base, and he just gunned right now Jason Hickson down about 12 yards down the field. 8 rushes, 102 yards. There's the story.
Tom, when you have a guy like Hickson, I mean, now he shows he can catch the ball, a double threat in athlete. I mean, it has to be tough on your defense.
We tried to game plan against this team, and the first time we were a little bit successful. The second time, obviously not. They just have so many weapons.
This time, they're able to stop Hickson at the 25-yard line, a loss of 1. 1.5 left in this first half of play. Timeout has been called by North Babylon. Bulldogs up by the score 14-6.
Well, again, I think if you're afraid that they're going to pass the ball with 1.5 minutes left, so you sit back, they're going to run the ball, and they'll go for 12, 15, 17 yards of the shot. If you come up and try to stop the run, they sit back and let Castellano pass the ball. And they have Barry Baker, who's only a freshman. The kid is phenomenal. I've gotten to see him play twice this year, Tommy, and you've gotten to see him play twice also.
Well, the difference in our first game planning them, in our first game, Baker was not really a big part of their offense. He played defense for him and occasionally on offense. In our second game, he became a bigger part, and it created so many problems for us in our defensive game plan that we had to change a lot of things that we did from the first game.
Tom, this is the 4th year of this Long Island Championship. It's gotten bigger and better every single year. What's it like to be out on the field coaching in a game like this?
You know what I told my kids last year? I said I was very privileged to play professional football, but I don't think I ever got as excited as I did coming here last year playing in this Long Island Championship, and that was when I played pro ball.
Do you think it's perhaps the best thing that these counties were able to do with the state and get these guys and play one another, Nassau versus Suffolk?
I think it's tremendous for the kids. it's just tremendous for football in Long Island too.
Well, speaking of tremendous, how about the play of number 12 again, picking up big chunks of yardage. Got about 12 there, crossing the 10, was Jason Hickson.
And I think Bethpage, when they go to the locker room at halftime, whether or not North Babylon scores on this drive, they have some serious concerns. They have never faced a team in the last 3 years like they're facing here tonight.
1:20 left on the clock. Yearwood in motion. That is he with the football. He's got the ball inside the 5, drives to about the 3.
And I guess he has some Tommy Cassis, the ultimate wing T coach in Suffolk County. When they're running this, you watch him how he followed his blocks that time, kick out by the guard on the end. He followed to the inside. He was able to drive and keep his feet going. I mean, they're a nice set of backs to have, and I know you've had many nice backs.
Absolutely. What he just did then was he set those blocks up for the lineman. He took it to the outside and then breaks back inside, off that trap block on the outside and the kick out block by the tight end, and that makes it easy for those kids up front.
And no one better than you knows how the backs can set up those blocks for the linemen, and all they have to do is screen instead of actually block, because just get in the way and the defensive man can't get to them.
That's the beauty of the wing team.
Clock ticking, gentlemen, inside 50, and pay dirt once again, Jason Hickson.
North Babylon is on a roll. They're starting to move. You give the Bulldogs some momentum. You give these North Babylon people who were waiting so many years to get back to a championship game. 1973, Terry Manning's junior year, they won a championship. That was the last time. They have a chance now, 22 years later, to do the same. Take a look right now. You're going to watch Hickson take the handoff from Castellano. Follows blocking. But again, nice blocking there. Double team at the point of attack. Scoot through the hole. Cover up the ball. I mean, you can't ask for an offensive back to do any more than that, you know. Protect your football. Get in. Say a little prayer. Put your head down.
And then he comes out, and the PAT is good. The point after, 21-6 in favor of North Babylon. Jason Hickson's numbers first half. What a great job, averaging over 10 yards per pop.
You know, Carl, you were talking to Tom about these Long Island championships, and I think the thing is, Nassau and Suffolk decided they wanted to stay here on the island. We have a state championship in New York State now, but we don't know those other schools. I mean, the Comstock kids right now, your season is over. So the meeting you had with your kids last week is the goal is next year we want to be at Hofstra. You want to come here. When you start talking about going to the Carrier Dome, I think it loses its flavor. You really, you know, you talk about state championship, you don't know. You get a rivalry here. You know who the Bethpages are. They know who the Comstocks are, the North Babylons. I think it creates a great rivalry between the two counties.
It's incredible because I'll tell you, Troy Gorman and my son Todd last year became pretty good friends from the rivalry. You know, Troy is up at Cornell now, Todd's at Harvard, but they spoke before the game, they spoke after the game, and actually became, you know, on a pretty good basis.
That was my next question. We were going to ask how Todd is doing. How is Todd doing? This, of course, is your son, who was a big star here for you. He played under you. In fact, he was a News 12 EAB News 12 Scholar Athlete Award winner. I mean, he's a great athlete. He was a great student. How's Todd doing, Tom?
Todd's doing fine. He loves Harvard. He's doing real well up there. He's finding the academics to be very difficult. He says he's studying 10 hours a night. So, you know, but he loves it up there, and you know, it's exciting.
Challenging is the word at Harvard. Challenging.
Very challenging.
They don't let you fail out of there, so he'll be there forever. You don't have to worry about difficult. It's just challenging.
I don't know if I can afford for him to be there forever.
Last drive for the Bulldogs, 9 plays, 58 yards. Took just under 3.5 minutes. 21-6 in favor of North Babylon. Clock winding it down with 30 seconds left. And Tom, before this half ends, we will thank you for stopping by. This is one of the better coaches in Suffolk, on Long Island. He knows what winning is about. He's developed a super program, Tom Howard, over at Comstock.
He certainly has, and I tell you, so many coaches admire him. His defense has been great. His offense, probably over the last 20 years, has probably scored the most points in Suffolk County if you add it up every year. I don't know any team that puts the points up on the board year in and year out like your guys do.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate that. Keep saying those nice things about me, Tom.
We certainly will, Tom.
And you know he's rooting for North Babylon because he is from Suffolk, and it's only right. He's looking for the split here. North Babylon wins. Nassau wins too. Suffolk will win too.
But I'm a little concerned. I'm looking at the players out in the field. They sort of have gold, white, and blue on. He's standing here with his gold, white, and blue. But this is true Comstock gold, white, and blue.
Trying to remind me of our nightmare of last week. That's what you're trying to do.
13 seconds are left in this first half. 21-6. NB over Bethpage. Remember, Bethpage, a 32-game winning streak on the line. That is a Long Island record. But more importantly, right now, the Long Island Class 3 title is on the line.
Here they come to that spread formation they're talking about. They're going to
out of the shotgun. Hogan steps up. He's got Soliday at the 49-yard line. Clock might run out. Does Bethpage? No, quickly they call time. 1 or 2 seconds might have ticked off. Scoreboard shows 3.
But what Bethpage has been able to do in Nassau County, Carl, is on those passes like that, their end Soliday would have one step and be able to pick up 12 or 15 yards. If you notice, the defensive lineman scraped down the line right then and had the same speed as Soliday to make the tackle right there on the spot. Didn't even make the first down. It's 3rd down and 1 right now with about 2 seconds left to go, and obviously the last play of the half.
Tom, what would you look for right now? You're North Babylon. You have 3 seconds on the clock. What would you be looking at from Bethpage as a coach with 1 play left on the clock and you're down by 15 points?
They're such great athletes, and they can cover people all over the field. But I would imagine there's got to be some kind of a Hail Mary type play.
One of the things you have to also remember in high school football, interference is only 15 yards. So if I'm Terry Manning, I'm telling my guys, any chance of this guy beating you, tackle him, do whatever you have to do. Don't let him get a cheap touchdown in this last play. They'll only move the ball to the 35-yard line. They'll have to try it again. And with their great athleticism, they're probably not going to do it 2 or 3 times in a row. So if you have somebody who's beating you, you make a mistake, make sure, interfere at this point.
They're one of the most athletic football teams I've seen in a long, long time. That's North Babylon.
Well, let's watch the last 3 seconds of the first half. Hogan is in the shotgun. 3 guys spread to the right. Scrambles to the near side. It wasn't even Hogan. That was Soliday who took that snap, but the play will run out. Time has expired. Tom Cassis, thanks very much for joining us. Continued success at Comstock High School.
Thank you very much, Carl. Thanks,
Good luck, Tommy. Okay.
Okay.
We are at the half in the Long Island Class 3 title game, and North Babylon leading it by the score of 21-6. Stay with us because Hal Sass will be joined by Section 11 coordinator Kathy Gallagher following this timeout.
At Hofstra Stadium in Hempstead, New York. The North Babylon Bulldogs 21, the Bethpage Golden Eagles 6 in this Class 3 championship game. I'm Hal Sass, joined by Kathy Gallagher, the Executive Director of Section 11. And Kathy, first of all, thanks for coming down. It's horrible weather. It's cold. You're up in the press box. It's nice and warm. We appreciate you coming down. First of all, you're the Executive Director. What is the responsibility of the Executive Director?
We have the responsibility for the entire interscholastic athletic program for all the schools in Suffolk County. We have 59 high schools, 77 middle schools, and 3,000 teams.
Now, 5 years ago, there was no Long Island Championship. Here it is, 1995. You're in the 4th year of this. The first 4 years have gone great. Suffolk County's trying to make it 2-2 this year.
Right, and I think we'll do it, and we're very happy. But all of the games through all the 4 years have been good matchups, and we're very pleased.
Now, we were talking before we went on camera, and I had asked you about the New York State Championships. This Long Island Championships took a long time in coming, but when you look at the crowds that are here at Hofstra Stadium over this weekend, probably about 12,000 people in total, this has really turned out to be a great event.
Absolutely, and we're not envious of anyone going to the state championships. We've got it all here. It's better for our own schools, our own school communities, and we're thrilled.
Now, you talk about a state championship. It took a long time for a Long Island championship. Is there a possibility that Long Island high schools can compete for a New York State title?
I would never rule that out, but I think we'd be giving up an awful lot in order to go into a state championship, and fewer of our teams would be able to participate. I really think for us now, this is the better route. And you can see all the excitement. I mean, who could want more than this?
Kathy Gallagher, Executive Director of Section 11. Thanks for coming on down. Go back upstairs. Get warm. It's cold out here. We're at halftime. 21-6 to score. North Babylon in front. Tom Howard joins me. Halftime stats and highlights right after this. 21-6 to score at halftime. North Babylon over Bethpage. Class 3 championship. Long Island High School football. Hal Sass joined by Tom Howard. Tom, good first half. I'll tell you, the hitting down on the field is intense. The crowd's into it. Championship football.
It certainly is. And I'll tell you something. Terry Manning has his team fired up. They come out of the locker room in the first half, gave up a quick touchdown, but have come back and done nothing but move the ball all over the football field. Bethpage has to have serious concern in the locker room at this time.
I'll tell you, a couple of touchdown-saving plays by the Bethpage defense. Well, this could be a lot worse.
Well, again, North Babylon has great athletes. They have running backs in Yearwood on one side. They got Hickson. They have Castellano quarterback. They can move the ball in a lot of different ways. And I don't think that Bethpage has seen a team like this before. Howie Boats, I'm sure, is talking to his kids. They're a great football team in their own right, though. I'm sure they'll be coming back in the second half.
Well, I'm sure Howie Boats' team is going to come back battling in the second half. A lot of highlights in the first half, a couple of big plays. Let's go to the highlights. As we take a look at Bethpage, they get on the board first with 4:06 left in the first quarter. Chris Searcy with a 2-yard run.
And you saw Chris just piled off the left side, drove right behind his big line. But that was the only 6 points they put on the board so far, Hal. And you're going to see in a second when North Babylon now starts to come back. This first play is going to be Mike Yearwood taking the ball and just wants his running ability. Breaks the outside right there, fakes out one man. Then cuts back to the inside again, faking out 2 more. And then beats A.J. Hogan to the corner of the end zone. You see Hogan coming late into your picture for the score, lays the ball down, runs back to the huddle.
The PAT made it 14-6 North Babylon. But Jason Hickson wasn't done. He had a 3-yard touchdown run earlier. Here's a 4-yard run. This makes it 21-6.
You see him just following his blocking. Look, a crushing block right there by the guard. Jason covers up the ball, gets into the end zone, gives a little nod with his head, says a little prayer, and says, boy, thanks for being here to the promised land.
Jason Hickson is a difference for this North Babylon team. Here's a team 0-8 in 1990. They come back, tough regular season last year, not a great record. This year, 9-1. He's been the total difference for this team.
Well, he really has. His speed has been the difference. They have some great players. Now, let's not take anything away from their offensive line. The offensive line for North Babylon has been doing a great job flying around in that Bethpage. They have great running backs in Yearwood, as I said before, and they have a quarterback, Castellano, who can put the ball on the money when he needs to.
Well, let's take a look at the first half statistics. These two teams putting the numbers up on the board. Take a look right there. First downs, North Babylon dominating. Rushing yards, they dominate. Not much passing. It's been real domination by the Bulldogs.
It certainly has. Total yards right there tell the story. 229 to only 131 by Bethpage. Number of plays, surprisingly, Bethpage has more plays. Haven't been able to put the numbers up on the board. But Hickson with 13 carries and 124 yards, and Yearwood with 7 carries for 90 yards is really the difference in this first half, Hal.
What do we look for in the second half, Tom?
Well, I think from the Bethpage, you have to look for able to move the ball, able to drive the ball behind that big wedge that they did, getting A.J. Hogan free into the secondary. But B, you have to look for Bethpage to really start moving on defense, bringing a lot of people up. I don't know whether they can do it. North Babylon is that good athletically. I said at the top of the telecast, and I'll say it again, Bethpage has not faced a team with this athleticism in many years.
Tom joins Carl for second half action. You're watching Long Island High School Championship Football on Cablevision's Long Island Sports Network.
Ready to go to start the third quarter of play in the Long Island Class 3 Championship. North Bab on top by the score of 21-6 over Bethpage. Tom Howard, anything major that we might see differently here from the Golden Eagles?
Well, from the Golden Eagles, I think they're going to have to start playing some real tough defense because Terry Manning just lashed into his team in the locker room at halftime. He said, this is a nothing game. You guys have a lot to learn if you think a team like Bethpage is going to let down. They're coming out to kick your tail. His team is inspired right now. I hope Bethpage is just as inspired.
Little miscommunication there. Hickson, though, does pick up the football to start the second half. Good coverage by Bethpage. Ball at the 15-yard line for the Bulldogs of North Babylon.
And you can see there was miscommunication. Both people thought the other person was going to carry it. Barry Baker is back there. He's only a freshman. His backup back there with him is number 12, Mr. Hickson. Now, I would think that, you know, Jason would at least be some communication there. There wasn't, so the ball was starting in bad field position. Bethpage right now has to step it up, though, defensively. They have to put a bunch of people in the box. They have to try to stop this potent offensive attack that North Babylon has.
It was dynamite in that first half of play. They get it going here on the first play from scrimmage to start the second half.
Second down, you see right there, Craig Marshall puts up number 2 real quick. He's saying, hey, North Babylon recovered. It is second down, but the ball was on the carpet, and that's something that North Babylon can't afford to do.
Hey, this is a very athletic team here because you have a guy like Jack Loth who's up here. He's the basketball coach at North Babylon. He's got 4 of his starters out there. Barry Baker started last year for him as an 8th grader. Kendall Hines, number 3, is a basketball player. Jason Hickson is playing hoops. And, of course, the big guy, John Court, number 74. He's a 6'8" center. This time they come to the left side of the line looking to spin, but he gets run over there, the ball carrier for North Babylon. Is it Yearwood or is it Hickson? It's only a matter of which one carried the ball, and that was Yearwood, number number 14.
And you can see Mike here would get up, but one of the things we can see right off the bat, mistake by North Babylon not fielding the ball on the opening kickoff, and an inspired defense. 2 plays right now. A team that had 250 yards rushing in the first half has 1 yard on 2 carries. Third down, a big third down play. Let's see what Bethpage is going to do, because they do seem to be a little more inspired coming out of the locker room in the second half.
3rd down and 8 from the 17, just on the way. Start of the second half. NB, North Bab, and Bethpage. Good cutback to the 20-yard line, maybe gaining 3 yards on the play for North Babylon.
And Carl, you can see right there.
Castellano was the ball carrier. It's going to be well short. It'll be 4th and 6. North Babylon will have to kick the football away.
Into the wind with Bethpage possibly getting good field position. And we have the pleasure of being joined in the booth right now by Bill Piner, the football coordinator for Section 8, Nassau County. And Bill, 2 wins by Nassau County right off to start off, a win by Suffolk today, and now Bethpage a little under, behind right now, but getting good field position at the beginning of the second half.
Well, we're all pulling for our own counties and our own teams, and that's part of the fun of being here. But certainly a split is, if it works out as a split, we don't know what's going to happen here, but if it works out as a split, then that's great for everybody, and it's great for the game.
Just like the first year when we had a split,
Absolutely.
and then, it went a little towards Nassau's favor after that, but a split really helped. I agree with you, it helps out everything. And you saw just a good return there. Bethpage now down 21-6, gets the ball in real good field position around the 35-yard line to start off the second half, Carl.
That was David Kelly on the punt return. Bill Piner, as you mentioned, Tom Howard, who's joining us, very instrumental along with Nick Schroeder in putting this stuff together, this Long Island Football Championship. You've got to be very proud. We had Tom Cassis in here in the second quarter, Bill, and he talked about what it's like to be in this game. But, you've got to love what's happened here over the last 4 years.
It's just been greater than we ever imagined. It really has. It's done so many things to pull the Long Island community together and pull the counties together. And the saying is that build it and they shall come. And I think everybody that had anything to do with putting these games together should feel real proud. And they have come. You can tell by the crowd tonight.
Had big crowds for all of these games, this being the last of the 4 championship games. That was a 1st and 10 on that carry. Bethpage trying to get back in it. Tom Howard trailing 21-6.
Well, one of the ways they're trying to get back in this thing is they're trying to start wedge blocking again like they did on that first drive where they drove North Babylon off the ball. But Henson Harrison, who's number 66 for North Babylon, is now submarining their center. He's going right onto Chris Hecker. He's trying to create a big block there, and he's done a pretty good job. They've switched from a 5 to a 4 right now. They have a 4 look.
Hogan, the quarterback. Big hole. Kelly crossing the 30 to the 29-yard line. Hey, Bill Piner knows what it's about to coach in big football games as well. I mean, a former coach at Sewanaka. He coached Vinny Testaverde, who's been playing how many years now? I don't want to make you feel old, Bill Piner. How many years has Vinny Testaverde been in the NFL now?
I believe he's been in 9 years.
9 years.
That's amazing.
So are you getting old? Well, everyone's getting older.
I don't feel like it around these games, though. I tell you, these games just make you feel young all over again. The adrenaline gets going, and it's great.
Boy, he got off the ball quick, did Searcy. Thought maybe he might have jumped and they would have thrown, but just quick feet there getting off the ball, Tom Howard.
That was an enormous defensive series to open up the half of Bethpage, and if they could put it in the end zone now, we really have a ball game.
Absolutely.
We got an opportunity between plays down to the field in Hal Sass.
Thanks, Carl. Before the start of the 3rd quarter, I went over to the Bethpage sidelines. Players were yelling to each other, "Suck it up, suck it up." They haven't faced this type of deficit this year. They're trying to pull together with a big second half. The coaching staff, the assistant coaches before this drive said, right here, we score on this drive.
Well, they need to score on this drive, and you see right now, they're starting to play Bethpage football again, though. They're starting to drive off the ball. As I stated earlier, Bethpage has dominated for the last 3 years. They're 32-0. They really haven't been tested. Last year, they come to our game, and they answered the test in the Long Island Championship. Now they're really being tested. Last time they were tested was when Lynbrook upset them in 1992 in the finals to get to the Long Island Championship.
This will be a 2nd and 7 from the 22-yard line. 7.5 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter of action. Hogan, number 12, the quarterback for Bethpage. Searcy, number 2, trying to fight his way to the 20-yard line. Bill Piner, in all your years of being in high school football, whether it be a coach or administrator, have you ever really seen a juggernaut like we've seen here with this Bethpage program?
No, I don't recall one. I think their winning streak actually is evidence of the fact that there really hasn't been such a team before. It's an outstanding program, but know, it's also a great coaching staff, a great community, a great school. I mean, there's tremendous support for what's going on. There's a tremendous tradition. Just walking through the Suffolk coaches just mentioned, walking through the Suffolk stands selling 50-50, that those are the nicest people in the world over there. So it's a great thing all around.
Hogan being chased, but again, the athlete shows composure, and he's inside the 10 to the 5. Dives for the touchdown.
How about athleticism? I've been talking about athleticism on the North Babylon side the whole night, but we said A.J. Hogan is a phenomenal athlete. He just showed there why he is arguably the best quarterback in Nassau County. There was another quarterback in Nassau County who went to St. Anthony's this year by the name of Nick Hartopoulos. They played in the same offensive backfield in Bethpage where they grew up together, and neither of them were quarterbacks. They played the two running backs. They're both tremendous athletes. A.J. showed where he could have been trapped for a 15-yard loss right there. He ended up putting it into a touchdown. I mean, diving in, even the ref jumped up in the air to throw his hands up in the air. He was so excited that A.J. had scored.
Hogan will hold for the point after. The kick is up, and it is good. Got through the uprights by Ed Franco. We've got a football game, gentlemen. 21-13. North Babylon on top.
Let's sit back and watch this again because this is a phenomenal one-man effort. He looks right. He's trapped. He comes the other way. He just avoids a tackle. Now he starts going down. Now watch the block coming to the corner right here. You're going to see a turn back on number 3 right there. Bam. 2 guys get hit. He's into the end zone, dives, puts the ball across the goal line. Ball fumbles back out after it crosses the plane, and the referee signals touchdown. One more time. Watch the skill. He's trapped for a 15-yard loss. He's back to the line of scrimmage. He picks up a good downfield block. He sets it up, too. Good back set up their blocks, and he set it up right there. Now he stretches into the end zone. Ball goes across, and a little backspin, a little English on it to bring it back out of the end zone. You can see right there where it hit the blue of the Hofstra end zone.
You gotta like that. This is an exciting athlete, and what makes it even better is this is an exciting athlete that's on the field with a bunch of other exciting athletes. So his performance is even brought to another level.
Exactly. He raises that expectation up to another level.
I was watching that opening series, and I was wondering when A.J. was going to get involved because he's got to be a key figure in this game in the second half.
And he's the leader of the team, and I think they found that out at halftime, and they asked him to step it up, and he has. He's responded.
Well, here comes another exciting player. That was Hickson on the kickoff return, shy of the 30. Bethpage drive, 6 plays, 38 yards, 3 minutes elapsed time, but it was capped off by the big play by A.J. Hogan. 6.5 minutes to play in this third quarter, 21-13.
Just another victim, a North Babylon sign. They have all the names, the East Hampton, the Miller Places, the Sables. There's 2 against Sable, the Islips, the Half Hour Hills, King Park, the Park. Just another victim that's taking this.
Have they reserved a place? There it is.
Just another name, and this is reserved. Terry Manning said to me earlier, he says, we got nothing to do on Saturday night. We'll take a trip over there because you know something? The most exciting thing is to get a team fired up to play a team that's 32-0 and take the chance of knocking them off.
Yearwood over the 30-yard line, stopped by number 39, Brandon Testa, the junior, for Bethpage.
You can see now, this is a crucial series right now because Bethpage now has answered the bell. They brought the game back into reach. They have to hold North Babylon, which was so powerful in the first half driving the ball, defensively again, and then you'll see their offense come back on the field.
Yearwood is stopped after a gain of about 2. That was a 2nd and 8 from the 32. Inside 5.5 minutes to play third quarter, Long Island Class 3 championship. There is Mr. Manning.
And Terry's, you know, I've known Terry for many, many years. 1973, he started lifeguarding for me. Next to him is John Rowland in his short sleeve shirt. He's a lifeguard with Terry over at Overlook Beach. But he's a heck of a football coach. He didn't get his chance at North Babylon. He coached their defense one year. They won a championship. And then he came back as a head coach 3 or 4 years ago.
Trying the right side and getting stuffed on 3rd and long. Be a punting situation coming up for North Babylon. They'll be kicking it away.
And look how excited the Bethpage stands are because 2 times this half they've answered the call. The first drive, North Babylon stalled and punted. Second drive, North Babylon stalled. Now the question is, be careful here. Make sure you don't make a mistake. Don't jump off sides. Make sure they punt the ball, not a fake punt. If you're Bethpage, you want to make sure that number 12, Jason Hickson, punts that ball. Good look at him right here.
From the end zone, Hickson to do the kicking. Has trouble with the snap, regains and gets the kick off. Not the best of kicks. Which way does the ball bounce? It bounces for North Babylon. Will come to the 36-yard line. Bethpage will put it back into play. And Bill Piner, how he votes on the sidelines, 43 years. Tell me something that could be said about how he votes that somebody hasn't already said. Is there anything left?
I don't know if you can say enough about how he votes. He is the senior coach in Nassau County. He's just done an outstanding job over the years, and he just loves the kids. He loves being around the kids. I don't know if you guys have ever had the pleasure of being over there at practice, and as the kids straggle out of the building, they're all sitting around chatting with him. It's just great to see. He just transcends coaching and teaching and having a relationship with the kids.
Robert Kosher, the ball carrier, was talking to Bill Piner, who is the Section 8 football coordinator in Nassau County.
And let me pick up on that call because I've been to many of Howie's practices, Bill. And what I find amazing is he'll sit over on the sideline, and everybody will be running practice, and Irwin Dill and Richie Millett, Mike Posh will be running the practice, and all of a sudden the voice will come and say, his left foot wasn't back. I mean, he picks up these little things, the basics, and the kids respond and they listen to him.
Or he'll get really ticked and get up on his feet.
Oh.
You know that cane and start coming in your direction, and I will tell you, we'll start paying attention.
I think he got up on his feet in the locker room at halftime, Bill, because I'll tell you something. Look at how this team is responding in the second half. Cersei is coming out of that carry. I mean, he's fired up. Northbound, when Terry Manning said at halftime, he told his guys, he said, this is a nothing game. If you guys give up, but Terry maybe didn't get into their heads. They may have said, hey, coach, come on, we saw what we did. High school football is so great because things can turn around on a dime.
Absolutely.
Well, this is what we're seeing here on the field is why Nick Schroeder and Bill Piner, the two coordinators from each county, tried ever so hard to finally get this game to happen. This is the fourth year, and as I said, it's getting greater and greater as A.J. Hogan crossing the 45 to about the 42-yard line. He picked up about 6 on that play, 2nd and 4 upcoming.
You know, I can't tell you how Nick and I, we were just standing down there before in the first half. The two of us just stand there and we stand back and we look at everything that's going on, and I tell you, it's just an unbelievable feeling. It's just something that's here to stay, and everybody works so hard to make it happen, and when it happened, it's just taking care of itself.
And I know you probably haven't got the thank you letters, but probably every coach in Nassau and Suffolk should write you and Nick a thank you letter because you really have made this thing happen, and it's so good for Long Island football and so good for these high school athletes.
Well, that's true, Tommy, and we know they're appreciative, but we're appreciative too because to make it happen, there's so much cooperation that's required. The 4-conference structure and everybody supporting it that way they had, and
the
compatible competition, the point system, everything. People have bought into it, hook, line, and sinkers, administrations, ADs, everybody's been tremendously cooperative, especially even organizing these games. I mean, it's a pleasure to work with these guys.
Big third down situation here, Carl.
3rd and 3 from the 41, guys. And I don't know, it's going to be short. We're going to have a 4th down upcoming and a decision to be made here. Does Bethpage go? Or will they kick it away? But Bill Piner has been talking about all the people. We've talked about the fans, everybody that's been there. Howie Votes looking on, leaning on that ever so popular cane. There is a good look as we push into the press box. Folks, this is high school football. You can't get a seat, Bill Piner, in that press box with the media and all the people, the attention that this football game, these football games have generated. That press box is packed.
It sure is.
Big play coming up in the football game. 4th and 1, driving ahead. I believe he's got it, and I believe it was Searcy.
It's a close call. It's going to be a close call, but it looks right there. Craig Marshall says, no, sir, not as close as you thought. The Bethpage fans are responding.
1:09 left on the clock, 3rd quarter. Bethpage driving. They trail by 8.
It's time right now, I think, for Terry Manning maybe to use a timeout. It's time for Terry Manning to get out on that field and to get to Jerron Martin and to Evans Charles Pierre, his 2 outside linebackers. It's time for him to start talking to his line and saying, hey, guys, you have to respond now. Do you believe what I said to you? They're coming back.
Speaking of back, Hogan back to throw, looking downfield. Solid A diving effort. Coverage by North Babylon. I believe it was number 2 Baker or number 3 Hines. Again, those numbers so hard. It was number 3 Kendall Hines on the coverage.
And a gutsy call at this point, because what happens now is, I don't know whether you're in 4-down territory. I guess the decision was just made there that they are in 4-down territory. So now you have 3 downs to make 10 yards. You have to go 3.5 yards on each of the remaining 3 plays in order to get your first down. You watch here as A.J. Hogan sets up. He delivers the ball. He has such a nice touch. He delivers the ball. It just looks like Soliday gets turned around a little bit, and that slows his foot speed down. He just misses the ball as it goes off his fingertips.
And
another
he
angle.
Had Hines beat too.
Exactly. Another angle you have here to just off his fingertips is the outstretch.
Hogan rolling near side, still has the ball, reverses, cuts his field, scrambles back. He'll lose a couple of yards at the 40-yard line, clock winding with 32 seconds left. It will be a 3rd and long coming up for Bethpage.
Well, Terry maybe didn't need to call that timeout because his team now has responded. An incomplete pass helped North Babylon, but now a good pressure, good athleticism right there by the North Babylon Bulldogs makes it a 3rd and 14.
As the clock winds down, this probably will be the last play.
Splits, this is what they do. Bethpage does so much garbage to make you prepare all week, and this is where they can come up with a big play because you're not ready for it. You're just not ready for it.
Hogan looking to dump off to Kelly near side. He was out of bounds. Time has expired in the 3rd quarter. Bill Piner, thanks very much for coming on, and continued success, and we'll see you at the dinner, the Gridiron Dinner on Monday night.
Thanks very much for having me, guys, and you guys are doing a terrific job, and our thanks to LISN and the entire staff, cameramen, everybody in the truck and everything.
Thank you, Billy, because the cameramen do deserve it on a night like tonight, that's for sure.
And we will talk about them when we come back. Timeout on the field, 3 quarters in the books, 21-13, North Babylon over Bethpage. Rocking and rolling in the cold at Hofstra Stadium. 12 minutes left, perhaps, in the Long Island Class 3 Championship. Tom Howard, you said if you were Bethpage, you would punt, and they are.
No question you punt in this situation. You've trapped North Babylon deep. North Babylon now has the win. You don't want to give them the ball at the 40-yard line. It's 4th and 13. Bad snap. Terrible, terrible. It's a punt. That's a punt. That's a punt. A touch for a North Babylon player? Okay, he got it. I thought I was going to say if it touched him and he fumbles the ball after the punt crosses the line of scrimmage,
they got 2 yards out of that because of the bad snap. Pressure was being applied.
Carl, you talk about mistakes in championship games that you can't make. You can't make bad punts. You can't give interceptions or fumbles. You can't be penalized. All these things. Howie Vosa's teams don't do those things. Tonight, the roof is starting to cave in a little bit. They got themselves back together. They were doing things so well, but they turned over the ball on around the 38-yard line right now. They have to respond big here. They have to stop them and still get good field position. So they need really a turnover right now.
Let's watch what the Bulldogs of North Babylon can do. They had 21 going into the locker room. At the half, they still have 21. Crossing the 40-yard line to the 42 was Jason Hickson of NB.
Now take a look at this punt. First, the snap is bad. After a bad snap, though, it's a bad scoop. It's low, he doesn't handle it. He picks it up. Now he sees a man. Instead of trying to get in front of that man, he kicks. It just goes, it doesn't even hit his foot. It hits the lower part of his leg. You see number 33 pick up the ball at that point, and he starts to rumble. Number 33 is Jerron Martin, a good defensive linebacker for the Bulldogs.
Seriously trying to get the punt off. Driving ahead to perhaps the 45-yard line. Short yardage on the play, 12, Jason Hickson. And we've talked about it, we're going to tell you about it again. Support the youth of Long Island and become a sponsor of the Long Island High School Sports Championship Series. For more information, call 516-485-3701. Get it done, get on the phone.
And Carl, as an athletic director, I can say this is great for high school football, but there's so many other sports. There's volleyball, there's lacrosse, there's baseball. I mean,
there's
right down to basketball, you have
wrestling.
so many good things that we can help our youth with.
Big third down stuff, Yearwood the ball carrier. Big defensive stand by Bethpage following the poor punt.
How about in the first half, we didn't see North Babylon punt. In this half, it's been 3 and out 3 times in a row. What was said in that locker room? I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall in Howie Boats' locker room because obviously the Golden Eagles have responded. 32-0, they're trying to steal it. We worked so hard. You guys are letting down. Their pride is showing now. They're coming back. You can see right there, North Babylon, number 14 on North Babylon is saying, and that's Yearwood saying, hey, I tried.
Hickson, the punt. Robert Haga on the return over the 30 to the 34-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Golden Eagles. 9:34 left in this contest. Down on the field, once again, Hal Sass.
Thanks very much, Carl. The Long Island Football Championships are in their 4th year, and it's turned into quite a major event. We've been talking about it all night. When spectators come in, they can purchase this championship program. This program is filled with best wishes from local sponsors and is filled with statistics from the regular season and previous Long Island Championship games. All these numbers compiled by Jake White of Garden City. He's been at more football games over the last few weeks than most people go to in a year. Jake White, one of the people making the Long Island High School Football Championships great and fun for the fans.
And one of the nicest guys, Hal Sass and Tom Howard, that you will ever run into. Jake White does an outstanding job with the numbers as the chief stat guy for these Nassau County playoffs and then the Long Island Football Championships.
Takes such pride in what he does too, Carl. I mean, he as you said, he's a great guy. He's a hard worker. I mean, he would be here if he had 110 temperature. I mean, he takes so much pride in his work and does such a great job, not only for Nassau County for their championships, but for Long Island and Long Island football.
He has become such a popular figure in the press box. You have a Howie Votes, you have a Terry Manning, you have a Tom Flatley. People say, but there's Jake White.
Sure.
He's like one of the guys, as if he's a coach out there. Hogan keeping, trying to cut back to the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 5 coming up for Bethpage. Watching the clock inside 8.5 minutes to play in this 4th quarter.
And I'll tell you something, Hogan, I don't know how he ever got out of that play. He makes things happen out there. He was trapped 6 yards deep and he ends up coming back. This is a time, though, to go back to that spread formation. I think you're going to see sometime in the near future where they come out and they go to that crazy formation because North Babylon has had trouble handling it.
The one touchdown was that of an acrobat, the way he was able to spin and weave his way into the end zone. Being stuffed and stopped, 36, Danny Smith.
Okay, you see a shot of Jake White.
Jake in the Garden,
exactly, Garden City hat right there. And I'll tell you, we mentioned it before, he does such a great job. He sits right there, he sits there on Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night of Thanksgiving weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday after Thanksgiving, and Friday and Saturday the Long Island Championships, and he just gets everything done.
4th down, they'll punt it away. Will Bethpage let this ball bounce. Takes a Golden Eagle roll. Flag on the play. Ball at the 32. What could that flag be?
I'm not really sure. You don't usually see flags unless there's a blocking below the waist or something like that, but it wasn't a return. It came in late. I was going to say nobody was around it, so that flag must have been someplace off the play, and you don't want to make it. If it's a North Babylon penalty, and usually that's what it is, it's a pretty stupid penalty at that point, and it is. It's against illegal use of hands against Bethpage, and that's even a more stupid penalty because you punt the ball. You don't want to give North Babylon good field position. I don't know where the illegal use of hands comes. It was declined. It'll be 1st down. They'll pick it up there. It was before the ball was dead, so they could either put him back or punt it again. Terry Manning says, no, I want the ball in my guys' hands now. I want it now. I'm challenging my offense right now to get off the ball. Show me what you're made of. In the first half, you ran all over these guys. What are you going to do now? Because we need a drive, 7 minutes and 10 seconds to go. We need a drive to put us into the promised land, and we're going to win.
Actually, the lucky numbers when the clock started, you saw 7:10. The actual number up there, the lucky numbers was 7:11 left. See what they roll here. Speaking of rolling, Castellano rolling right, pressure put on him, gets the pass off, and it is complete. The big guy, Mike Castellano, the brother of John.
And I'll tell you, there's a connection that they've had for many years on the North Babylon baseball team. Now they have it on the North Babylon sidelines for football. John Castellano, the 5'11", 185 senior, hitting his brother Mike, the 5'11", 190-pound, 5-pound heavier senior. Good fake right there. Drops back now, but watch here. He has pressure. He squares his shoulders. Watch how he fires the ball. It's just a flip of the wrist. Zip, and that ball has zip on it when he throws it.
Stepped up back inside Soliday, keep it in the family. John to brother Mike, the Castellanos. And now you get the Hickson crossing the 45 to the 44. This is key now because they're starting to chew some clock up, Tom Howard. We're approaching 6.5 minutes to play, and it's a North Babylon 8-point lead.
And North Babylon right now knows they have to keep going, and Bethpage knows this is the time they have to rise to the occasion. You see the talk on the field.
Flag, though.
Flag was down holding, and that's going to be a big call. So instead of the ball moving forward, the ball is going to go back. It's going to be first and 20 instead of 2nd and 7.
Bring it all the way back. The ball now resting at the NB 41-yard line. As Tom Howard said, 1st and 20. And the clock begins to tick again. You heard it. Nobody respects North Babylon. They had something to prove coming into this one. Tripped up, crossing the 40. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Was Hickson.
Now, you're in a situation now where your running backs have been grabbing and getting good yardage, but you also may have to put the ball in the air at some point. My thought is I wouldn't put the ball in the air on any of the 3 plays. I really wouldn't. I'd use the time off the clock and punt if I had to. Now, Terry Manning and Danny Backley, his offensive coordinator, they think completely differently than me. They feel Yearwood has a good arm. They can get the people downfield. Let's see if they're going to do this, though, on 2nd down, or they're going to wait until the obvious passing situation, which is 3rd down.
Those are the numbers for Hickson. Castellano over center, number 9. Back to throw. Man open, has it. And it's Hickson staying on his feet, driving to the 32-yard line.
And that's why Terry Manning's down in the field coaching now, and I'm sitting up in the press box, okay? He decided to put it up right away. He says, forget it. Not only am I going to put it up, I'm going to put it up, march the chains down, get the 1st down back, and that's what they did. I mean, you knew they were going to put it up at one of those 2 plays. They decided we're going to go with it on 2nd. Watch Castellano release. Nice job downfield. And they put Hickson out there. He comes out of the backfield into a slot position, keeps his balance, down the field, picks up the big 1st down.
Hogan slowed him down. Kelly made the tackle for Bethpage. Inside 5.5 minutes to play. NB is driving again to maybe the 31, a gain of 1.
But
the ball carrier Hickson for North Bab.
All important time is coming off that clock call. It's going to be under 5 minutes the next time they snap the ball. It's 2nd down. You can see the North Babylon coaching staff a little fired up there.
Interesting football game. There is your story. 32 games in a row Bethpage has won. It is a Long Island record. We've talked about it the last time they lost in the playoffs in '92 to Lynbrook.
Tommy Marshall just set the clock again. You have 25 seconds. Don't. I'm sorry, Craig Marshall.
That's all right.
You got that.
I'm going to get you once there. Yearwood stopped, stayed up, picks up maybe a yard or 2. That's important now to watch the official when he's going to put the ball back in the play.
Every second is important in this game. You have to use every second. They snapped the ball with 15 seconds left to go. And I apologize to Craig Marshall because I know him and I keep on saying the wrong
Yeah, but you know what? You have 2 good guys. You have Craig Marshall, you have Tom Marshall. You can't go wrong with either guy, but you're talking about precious few seconds. NB will stay in that huddle as long as they can. We're down to 4:10 right now. You fake to Yearwood. Castellano back to throw. Wide open is Hickson. Touchdown!
Waggle pass. All they did was run the waggle. They hit Hickson, dragging across the middle of the field, wide open. Bethpage has not been able to cover that waggle all day long. One more time they throw it. There's the nail in the coffin. It's going to be almost impossible with that ground attack that Howie Votes has to come back. I'm sure you're going to see right now when they get the ball back, they're going to go to that wide open offense that they have because they're not going to be able to chew up the clock. They're going to have to put 2 on the board in the next 3 minutes and 58 seconds.
It's pretty much in the books right now. North Babylon will be the Long Island Class 3 champs, and the Bethpage 32-game winning streak will come to an end. The extra point is up and good. It is 28-13, 68 yards, only 6 plays. 3 minutes, 54 seconds.
Take a look again. Just a waggle, a little quarterback bootleg, hits the drag man across, no one covering him, down the sideline, and right now he decides he's going to make a cut back to the inside. Boom, he leaves both defenders standing in their tracks, walks into the end zone. Jason Hickson, one more time for a score.
Timeout on the field, 3:58 left on the clock. We're back with the conclusion right after this timeout. Stay with us.
Okay, let's take a look right now from the end zone view. You're going to see the bootleg pass. You'll see Castellano drop back, fake to the one-way. Bethpage plays her out of the way. Look at that, over the middle, wide open is Hickson. He comes back, and now watch the cutback. Instead of going and just getting a couple yards, he decides he wants to get to that end zone, does a good job of cutting back, and just puts the ball down.
Jason Hickson.
Here's a stat, though. In a championship game, you're 4 for 4. When you have to pass, you come big. 4 for 4 for 87 yards and 1 touchdown. He's put the ball on the money every time. 0 turnovers. The whole year, he's only thrown 1 interception. No interceptions since tonight because they don't have to put the ball up any more times. North Babylon Bulldogs, under the coaching of Terry Manning and the staff, have done what a lot of North Babylon fans felt they should have been able to do for many years. Great athletes every year in the North Babylon backfield.
28-13, 15-point lead, NB, 3:58 left over Bethpage. They're getting ready to celebrate in North Babylon. And it looks like it will be a split, Tom Howard.
It certainly does. It looks like 2 for Nassau and 2 for Suffolk. And again, when you come over here, look at the obstacle North Babylon had. They're taking on a team that had won 32 in a row. They were not afraid of that record. They said, hey, we can do it. Now they're getting the whole momentum. They're kicking off through the end zone. I mean, when the momentum goes, they just get fired up. They're going berserko. Through onto the snow and out of there.
You got that one right.
It's Hickson
time. Hickson, there he is. Yearwood, Castellano, the defense, total team effort, Bulldogs of North Babylon over the Golden Eagles of Bethpage in this one.
It really was, too, because in the third period, you saw how Bethpage answered the challenge and came back, and really the third period was theirs, completely theirs, offensively and defensively. But in the fourth quarter, when it really counted and the backs were to the wall, the Bulldogs responded big.
Well, here's some of that
no, they have to do that. And they can move down the field very quickly in this. Don't get me wrong. They can move down very quickly.
Hogan with a lot of real estate in front of him, picking up some big chunks of yardage over the 40 to the 44-yard line. A.J. Hogan.
I guess the question is going to be the way they're moving now. Are people going to say later, if they do move down and score, do they do it too little, too late? Right. Because when you have a quarterback like that and you spread out the field, he can go anywhere. Look at him. Look at this ability. He's picking up 26 yards on this play. Timeout North Babylon. And this is what Terry's going to say. He's smart. Call it now. Don't let him get that touchdown. Call it now and say, guys, this is what we're going to lock in. We worked on it this week. We knew what they were going to do. We have to make sure that our 2 linebackers who spy Hogan, and I'm sure they have it there. Look at Terry. He's upset. He said, you have to spy Hogan and stay with him.
Down to the field. Once again, Hal Sass.
Well, we've been talking about the weather all night, Carl and Tom. How do you stay warm on a cool night like this? Well, take a look. There are the legs. There's the short sleeve shirted John Rowland. John's an unpaid assistant to head coach Terry Manning. Now, let's look at this story a little bit further. He's a lifeguard at Overlook Beach. His boss, Terry Manning. His boss, a guy near you, Carl, Tom Howard. So how do you keep warm? Well, maybe a Class 3 Long Island championship will make it feel like Disney World to John Rowland and the North Babylon Bulldogs. They're a little over 3 minutes away from capturing the Class 3 title.
Actually, John isn't an unpaid assistant. John is a freshman coach on the staff, but John actually wasn't coming to the game tonight. He was going over to Overlook Beach just to check out the beach and then decided, hey, I might as well take a bus ride over.
Here we are. And to our left, North Babylon basketball coach Jack Loft does a great job with the Bulldogs, and look for them to come into play this year in Suffolk. But watch this, Kelly. Kelly runs outside at the 41-yard line, out of bounds. They gave Kelly a lot of room, and all of a sudden they've gone about 50 yards, Tom Howard, in 2 plays. They've only lost 17 seconds on the clock.
Well, they really can. I mean, they are able to move the ball, and I said that earlier. I knew they would go to this formation at some point during the game. The question was, when are they going to go to it? It's so tough to defend because they have their athletes on the field. They spread you out. There's the good look at Jack Loft. And Jack Loft, also a chief lifeguard in the town of Babylon. Jack is also Terry's boss.
And as Stan
when Jack and I show up.
As Stan Kellner described Jack Loft, he is the Mike Ditka of high school basketball coaches. He's lived with that reputation for years. How about Hogan looking downfield? Smith with an effort, but not able to come up with it.
And again, Terry went out to the huddle earlier. Terry's telling everybody out there, hey, you got to stay with your people. But when he starts to run, everybody comes up to get Hogan. He leaves a man open. You saw right there where Danny Smith gets open deep. He could have put 6 on the board real quick. Watch when Hogan scrambles. You got to honor him. You start coming up. When people start coming up, he lets go.
A little bit of a duck. Watch the effort by Smith. just coming up a bit
I don't even know
short.
if Smith was the intended receiver originally when he threw the ball. I'm not sure which man. You shouldn't have two receivers in the same area, and they just did. Let's open it up again, guys. 4 guys over here. Remember, these linemen are nothing unless they're going to block. Now, they may throw to Smith right here. It may just be a screen pass to Smith.
Smith coming out, now working his way over the middle. Hogan looking long for Kelly. Out of bounds. It was picked off, but Baker was out of bounds. It'll be 3rd and 10 for Bethpage from the 41.
I guess my question now is, why are they going deep every time? When you open it up like that, you always find somebody over the middle. You go underneath and find somebody over the middle crossing, they have to be open. And especially if Hogan starts to scramble and then throws, because then you pull those linebackers up towards you. So I think right now, because they haven't had to use this other than in practice, they don't have to put this in the games because they're winning all the games by 30 or 40 points. You can't use it then. It looks like you're running up the score. So they use this in practice every day. They practice this at least one day during the week, so they know if they get in a situation, they can use it. However, right now, I think they're panicking a little bit by trying to go deep every time. Take the underneath. Go for your first down now.
From the 41, it's a 3rd and 10 for Bethpage. They trail by 15. 3:27 left in the contest. Hogan a straight drop. Now he's really in trouble. Able to scramble. Gets rid of the football. This is Danny Smith. He's got the first down. Flag on the play. Smith on his feet to the 20-yard line. Check out the flag, Tom Howard.
It can't be downfield. It cannot be, well, maybe that is going to be the call. Could be an eligible receiver downfield. It's a screen pass. They were behind the line, but one of the guys must have broke ranks because what happened is A.J. Hogan had to rush and run around so much in the backfield, one of the guys drifted down. You should see they all should be waiting right there on the line of scrimmage. They should have been. You see 62 right now starting to drift downfield. That was the problem. 62 was drifting downfield. And you can see right there, I'm sure that's where the call is going to be on number 62. And unfortunately, they did pick up the first down. That's going to be loss of down, I believe, too.
So instead of the ball resting at North Babylon's 20 with a first down, it is now back to the 46-yard line and 3rd and long. Hogan, again, are they setting up the screen? He's in trouble. He's back to his own 35, and he's brought down at the 41. Big defensive play for North Babylon.
And that's where you get yourself in trouble. And again, I guess it's the ability to move, the ability to have speed that North Babylon has that Bethpage just couldn't handle it. Now, there's a call there, and I see Erwin Dill's out there. He got hit in the back, and he's saying, hey, Craig's saying, don't worry about it. At the very end of this play, let's watch the helmet coming to A.J. Hogan's back. Henson Harrison chasing him all over the football field, but here comes the hit. He's down. Now watch right there. It's a spear in the back by number 34, Evans Charles Pierre. I don't know that Erwin Dill doesn't have a good call there. Maybe you can come in with a hit, but don't lower your head. You get injured that way. You really shouldn't be lowering your head at that point.
2:56 on the clock. And Tom, when they had the ineligible receiver downfield called back, they've now lost almost 40 yards. They had the ball on a 1st and 10 from the 20 had that not been called. Now it is 4th and 28 from their own 41.
Well, I'll tell you something. They did that on purpose, Carl, because they're setting up this fantastic fourth down play where they have to, get about 37 yards in order to, at 2:56 remaining in the game.
There it is.
You see the trophy standing right there that's going to go to the Class 3 champion. Terry Manning is one pass play away, one sack away, one incomplete pass away from taking his team and running out the clock at this point.
Let's watch. Hogan batted down by Evans Charles Pierre.
They get the ball in good field position. They're on the 41-yard line of Bethpage. All they have to do is run out the clock. The only way they can run out that clock is by at least moving the chains one more time. Bethpage will use 1 or 2 of its timeouts. So North Babylon has to right now get some good leg drive out of their linemen and say, guys, let's just go push the ball down the field.
And Tom, as we're winding it down and before they get it in, we've talked about people, we've thanked people from all over. We've got to thank the guys, the crew for Cablevision for what they've gone through and what they've done. They've been here since 8:30 this morning, working on about a 14 or 15-hour day by the time they wrap it all up. But more importantly, you've got cameramen that have been outside in this cold, cold weather from the very beginning of this first of a triple header here. They are the guys that deserve all the credit, them and the people in the truck.
The unsung heroes that we never hear about, and they really are. I mean, they do the job. Fantastic pictures they've given us. Okay, fantastic direction Our producer, John Connell, has just done a great job with all of his staff, and they have to be credited for that call.
I don't have the crew sheet list in front of me, but there's one guy up there. It's been cold, it's been windy, and that perhaps is the toughest camera position today.
Right in the end zone.
Because he's got the wind blowing off a Hempstead
right,
Turnpike.
exactly.
But John Connell's crew has done an outstanding job. The guys and ladies, we have a lady doing our graphics for us, so the guys and gals who have endured a long, long day, no respite. They had no time off. They really had absolutely nothing
in between every game. We have an hour. They get to work for the next game. They're going right there. I mean, they've gone for 14 hours straight.
And we are winding it down. 2:40, and they're starting to whoop it up on the North Babylon sidelines. They're bringing home a championship.
You know, Carl, you hear the North Babylon band playing Hey, Hey, Goodbye, and just one thing maybe we could say, because what happens when you do stuff like that, and we should say that because a lot of people don't think it's a big deal, but when you do that, it's almost like an in-your-face type of thing to the other fans, and when you go out into the parking lot after the game's over, sometimes you have little problems because of things like that. The cheerleading staff that says things, you know, they don't realize their cheer is a little, you know, off color, or the band doesn't realize what they're doing. You're actually leading the fans to something that's a sort of in-your-face to Bethpage. A great program. 32 in a row. They're going to go down now. They should go down like true champions that they are. You don't need stuff like that.
Maybe the best thing about this game ending tonight, North Babylon will win the championship, and of course, Bethpage will have its 32-game winning streak. The Long Island record will be snapped. Hey, you know what? We get to see Howie Votes back on the sidelines next year for year number 44.
And starting over again. He's going to say, you want to know something? How many games is 33 in a row after that, right? How many more years am I going to have to come back to start doing that? Absolutely.
All-time winningest coach in Long Island high school history. Fumble, flag, loose football. This one will be recapped and put back together by Craig Marshall, the referee, with 2:33 left on the clock.
Again, right there you saw number 12, Jason Hickson, come up with a fumble. Good for him, too, because you really just want to hold on to the ball right now. You don't want to make mistakes. Take a look at this. You're going to see Hickson, just a bad handoff. The ball was never there. Hickson had it open. He was waiting for it. Pulls it back in off his face mask, goes the opposite direction. How Jason Hickson gets there first, I don't know, but he puts that big mitt of his out there, stretches it back in, pulls it in, and gets it. Basketball player for Jack Loft, Jason Hickson.
He's a starter, along with number 3, Kendall Hines, number 2, Barry Baker, who last year started as an 8th grader, so he'll have his second year of experience starting as a freshman.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, one very happy person in the stands tonight is the supervisor for the town of Babylon, Rich Schaefer, who had a bet with the supervisor for the town of Oyster Bay, Lou Yavoli, okay? Both Democrats saying, hey, we know each other very well. We've worked with each other up in the assembly up in Albany. Now we're back down to supervise our 2 towns. I tell you what, Lou, Rich picks up the phone. He says, I'll bet you a bushel of clams from the town of Babylon for your bushel of oysters from Oyster Bay that we're going to win this game. And again, as I said earlier, to make things more interesting, Sandra Bakity, the town Democratic leader in Babylon, whose son Danny coaches for North Babylon, has a councilman on the town board by the name of Pat Hogan, and his nephew is the quarterback for Bethpage. So there's a lot of little political rivalry there.
If you follow that story, you send your cards and letters to Tom Howard, care of Cablevision.
Well, the reason I say that is because the Howards hate all the
New
Democrats, and we'd like to get something in there.
111 New South Road, Hicksville, 11801 is the zip code. 2:38 left. In motion was Yearwood. Near side, rolling, Castellano with the football. Try to stay in bounds on this, the cutback. They will keep the clock going as he's pushed out of bounds.
No, he stayed in bounds. They stopped the clock for the first down. He gained the first down. They'll restart that clock because he did go down inbounds. The refs stopped the clock only because they went out.
Moved the chains on the first down.
And you're going to see Craig Marshall.
Aha, you
got it.
thought about
I stopped myself for a second there. You got it.
And that's tough for you to do, isn't it?
Boy, I'll tell you, when I get on a roll.
You don't stop.
Well, I think in a telecast like this, an average announcer will get probably in maybe 7,000 or 8,000 words. I want to try to get 100,000 words in, and I'm coming pretty close.
He gets the 100,000 in just in the pregame and halftime, never alone what he does during the game. Enthusiasm, Tom Howard. More enthusiasm from Jason Hickson inside the 20.
Look at that. He knows, boy. He said, We're not giving up. We're the Bulldogs. We're coming at you, Bethpage, and we're coming at you, and we're coming at you.
They'll move the chains again on another first down. They'll reset the clock. It's at 2:02, and it'll start to roll right now.
Well, with this victory by North Babylon, who had won 32 games in a row, the new leader of the
longest win streak
is going to be St. Anthony's, the Catholic school from Suffolk County, which has won 20 in a row. They lost their opening game to North Rockland last year, 20-14, and they've won 20 games in a row since then.
That program headed by
Rich Riker.
Thank you.
Great coach up at St. Anthony's High School.
Athletic director Don Buckley.
And just a whole great staff up there too. Do a great job with their program. And you know, here at Hofstra tomorrow, which is a Sunday, depending on when you're watching this game, it's Sunday, December 3rd. But at Hofstra University is the Nassau County Exceptional Senior Game, followed by the Catholic Exceptional Senior Game.
So Larry Bloom, director of sports facilities here at Hofstra, he's not done.
He works 3 days this weekend.
He's got 2 more football games tomorrow. Yearwood, the ball carrier, 2-10. And we are winding it down. Celebration coming up shortly.
Look at John. John saying, how about me? How about me just holding the ball? Why am I going to take a chance of handing it off? He went over, he talked to Terry Manning. Terry's told him what to do. 45 seconds left. They only need to run one more play. How about that being a knee, coach? That's what he's saying. Why are we going to go anyplace else? Let me take the knee and we never have to snap the ball again. We've won ourselves a Long Island championship. It's time to celebrate.
And you know what, Tom Howard? Carl Place and St. Anthony's now the only undefeated teams. They'll finish the season undefeated.
Well,
Nobody else.
How about the Frogs with about 340 kids in their school facing St. Anthony's with 2,800 kids in their school?
Let me ask you right now, how about the Frogs? Is it 20 seconds left? Who's the Rutgers Cup champion and who's the Rutgers Trophy champion? I'm going to say Ralph Capozzi and Carl Place possibly capture that Rutgers Cup. Agree, disagree?
I disagree. I think Bethpage is going to do it because I think the vote has already taken place.
It is.
And if the vote has already taken place, right,
before this
because
game.
It's the outstanding team in Nassau County, not the outstanding team on Long Island. I think it's Bethpage.
What about Suffolk?
I'm not saying that Carl Place wasn't the outstanding team, but I think in Suffolk County, that's going to be a tough one. That is going to be a tough one because it has to be the champion. I think it may end up being those North Babylon Bulldogs.
North Babylon is your Class 3 champion.
And those kids love Terry Manning. I mean, they really do. Terry has brought this whole community together with this. They're just out there. How many years, Jack Roth, has this team waited for a championship game?
Long Island Class 3 champions, fans spilling out onto the field. What a great job by Terry Manning's club.
Look at the security here.
Just said, forget about it.
There's no way we're going to be able to stop that.
28-13. North Bab, the winners. Championship football has come to an end. It's a split between Nassau and Suffolk. They each win 2. Unbelievable game here. 28-13, the Bulldogs.
I'll tell you,
the Golden Eagles.
They're all over the football field here. The security staff at Hofstra's trying to do a great job of stopping people, but they're just on demand. There's about 2,000 fans that are trying to get out, jumping over railings, turning all over the place. Terry Manning has to say, hey guys, get back there. We have an award ceremony that we're going to give, and we want to recognize our guys for doing the great job that they did do.
Hey, it's New Year's Eve in North Babylon, a month early. They're going to cherish this victory. 28-13, Jason Hickson, one of the stars. Yearwood, one of the stars, John Castellano. But as we said, Tom Howard, just a total team effort by North Babylon in completing their season.
And it really was, Carl. We said earlier the great athletic ability. You heard Tommy Cassis speak about the great athletic ability. You saw how Bethpage went in the locker room and came out and tried to stop it, but they were just unfortunately unable to stop it because of that great athleticism. They just kept coming at you and coming at you. If you stopped one, another person would come. I mean, when you have a backfield like Castellano, 4 of 4, he could throw to Barry Baker, the great freshman. Tight end Joe Perez had a reception. Yearwood had a reception. Hickson had a reception. And then you have big Mike Castellano blocking with Jason Hickson and Mike Yearwood running the ball. I mean, they just kept coming at you. And that great offensive line, Urban, Harrison, Salazar, Jacobson, and Cravey, they just, you know, really did a great job. Terry Manning has to be proud of him.
And of course, maybe some of the best things that you'll see is that when the game ends, winners and losers will shake hands at midfield. Hey, hats off to the Bethpage program as well. 32-game winning streak. That Long Island record has now come to an end. But another super season for Howie Votes and the Golden Eagles. Once again, the final score in this one, 28-13. North Babylon, your Class 3 winner. We're back with more from Hofstra right after this timeout.